and welcome back, hopefully back, although many of you, this might be your first live stream to join us or to see us in a long time, because we're talking about X-Wing. And gosh, we haven't talked about X-Wing in
not properly.
Yeah,
it gets mentioned from time to time.
You had the beef list thing that kind of happened, and it drained the energy out of the entire organization. I think at that time
it was over. We
did the second edition stuff with Alex Davey, and then I think that was kind of the last big thrust.
So 2.0 happened. I think it was 2018, and I got actually a friend of mine that plays and has continued playing to this day has a pretty good beat on what has happened since 2.0.
Yeah,
which because I converted. It was a process, converting your collection. And then I played in a tournament, like a regional level tournament. And I played against Rebel Beef. That's what you're mentioning.
Yeah.
And that was the end for me.
I think we were wrong about 2.0. I want to just get that on the...
Wrong about what?
Get that on the table. So anyway, welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking about X-Wing today. We're going to talk about Armada today. We're going to be playing Warlord today. A lot to talk about with Warlord. Their Kickstarter just ended. There's some updates there. Also, FabDB shut down, so we'll be talking about that. And also, Zach is making good on a bet that he lost to me.
And I just want to go on record as
always
saying...
pays his debts.
That's right. I want to go on record as saying, so this is because I lost a bet, but also it felt appropriate to pour one out for X-Wing. But not only am I making good on the bet, I requested, what is your favorite beer? And I got that answer and I could have brought, Bud Light.
You could have. It was very kind of you to ask and deliver.
I just want to make it clear, it's not just delivering on a bet, it's delivering in good faith. Just in case we bet later,
That is really good faith.
I'm effectively just sharking you. It's like I'm just setting up to be like, hey, remember that time you... so we'll be opening this in a second.
Yeah.
And enjoying that.
I had that for the first time in Belgium. And it probably is not the greatest of the Belgian beers, but man, it was that first moment where I was like, this is different.
I mean, I feel very similarly about Grimbergen, which is, I know objectively this is not the best beer.
I don't know, man.
But what I will say is that pretty much the first time, I think it was the first time I had beer.
Was it you and Daniel?
It was me and you.
Was it?
We were at my old apartment, and then we were like playing games or something, and then we somehow ended up at the White Lion.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was the first time I was going to say legally drank, but I didn't drink.
Yeah.
So really just drank, and they had Grimbergen on tap, and it's just like this old British style pub run by an old British lady that for some reason lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they had Grimbergen, and it was delicious, and I didn't know I liked beer. I grew up like all the people I thought were idiots drank beer.
Yeah, right. Like, that's as high school for us.
Yeah,
Chelsea.
And so I
out there, Tony.
I just was very negative on it. Looking back, I mean, I'm softer on those people than I was then. It's just like I thought they were behaving like idiots. Actually,
sure.
All of that to say, had Grimbergen, and in my mind, it's just that's like a very specific period of time in my life. It was the first time I was really having it. We were at the British pub for the first time, and it's like I love this experience.
Yeah,
like the pub experience. And then later it'd be Kilkenny's and like on and on and on and on. So you have an emotional connection to this one.
Yeah, very emotional connection to it. We should have got some Grimbergen too, and then you could have enjoyed the same sensation.
I did look.
Oh, couldn't find it?
I couldn't find it at two different places.
Okay.
It's hard. Oh, also, they brought me, like, the cup. The Grimbergen cup had a phoenix on it.
Yeah,
that's right. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I've arrived
in
the right place.
Well, do you want to crack these things and talk about X-Wing?
So
how's this going to work, too? We'll take any and all comments and commentary from y'all about what happened with X-Wing. And, yeah, good idea. You learned. This is stream learning has occurred.
All right, you want to start pouring?
Anything that y'all have learned about X-Wing or your thoughts about X-Wing, the early days, the good memories, what you liked most about it, how it ended, kind of what happened around second edition, and then the scenarios change in the game, I'm sure a little bit, and all of that, because a lot of that we're fairly ignorant to. But the long and short of this is that X-Wing is one of the absolute greatest games of all time. No contest, like not even a debate on that. And we were not nearly as into Armada. Armada did not hit for me. That's not the kind of game that's ever really going to be attractive to me. So I apologize for doing it a disservice. We were just not as familiar with it. And X-Wing was so big in our store, and Zach was so crazy into it. and I could never fly my ships where I wanted them. So that
spatial awareness
soured me on it a little bit.
That is a specific kind of skill set.
Yeah. But I thought it would be nice to maybe go through the history.
Yeah.
If you want.
I started, so back in March, I posted a Twitter thread. I posted an X thread.
Just say Twitter, please.
I'm just kidding. I always will say Twitter. So I posted a Twitter thread just kind of going through the highlights of my Flesh and Blood time because I was kind of stepping back from the Wolfpack and the competing at that game. And when I got saw the news about X-Wing, my natural response was, oh, I could do a thread about all my highlight X-Wing moments. Mm-hmm. So I went back into my photos and I was going through and I got about 8 pictures in and was only in the year like 2013. Yeah. And it came out in 2012. And I had to just stop. I was like, I do not have 10 hours to find all these pictures and write this entire thing. But yeah, X-Wing, I didn't expect, I've not really been active since like 2019. And I didn't expect to feel any certain kind of way about X-Wing ending, but it was sad, actually.
Well, hey, cheers. Also, please get that beer away from your laptop. Thank you very much.
Which one?
Both of them actually would be a great answer there.
I don't have anywhere else to go. Let's just do this.
Ideally, this would be in like a tulip or something, but we just have the pint glasses we'll have to get through. Oh, it's so good.
Axel, so what is actually happening in X-Wing?
Well, let's talk about that. So here's essentially what happened.
You want the full history? Can I get my whiteboard?
Actually, let me pull up the announcement because it's so short I can read it.
And I have the from my friend Glenn. Let me see. What is he okay with me saying? Yeah, Glenn from the SoCal X-Wing community. I have the player's perspective on what's happened since 2.0 from him.
Ooh, okay, I love that.
Yeah. So the announcement would be good. He's got the announcement on screen.
Oh, Jonathan, killing it. All right, so
cheers to being a killer.
Yeah, way to go, dude.
Yeah, I can't reach, but yeah, you get clink. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, let's do it.
He's coming through. All right, so this is what we got from the Asmodee team. We would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt appreciation of the Star Wars X-Wing and Star Wars Armada communities. While development of these games is ending, we'll have a limited quantity of product available for purchase. While supplies last, of course. The adventure is far from over.
Commentary now or later?
We're here to support Atomic Mass Games through a farewell tour, culminating in the Open Worlds Championship at Adepticon in March 2025. This will be a fantastic opportunity for fans to enjoy these games to the fullest with our full support every step of the way. But that's not all. Our dedication to the Star Wars galaxy remains stronger than ever, and we're thrilled to bring you new adventures with ongoing expansions and developments in both Star Wars Shatterpoint and Star Wars Legion. Thank you for being a part of our community. From Asmodee. So that was the official announcement. When did that go up? Last week?
I think it was like Friday.
Friday? Mm-hmm. And I listened to the Earthborne Games podcast, which was very cool. So a lot of those guys, they're mostly all ex-FFG people, and X-Wing was a big turning point for Fantasy Flight in terms of just scale and success.
Oh, yeah.
So it really hit for them. And so everybody at FFG has a really just passionate, kind of heartfelt understanding of X-Wing as a very important piece of the history of the company. And they had staff tournaments. It was always being played. It was always going on in the office. Andrew made a lot of decisions regarding X-Wing and ships and all these kinds of things. And he actually expressed he was just a little disappointed, maybe a lot disappointed that this, after 13 years of the game, this was like the farewell. If you remember the Netrunner farewell that they posted. Andrew did a big, long retrospective on Netrunner and how much it meant to Fantasy Flight and all this. It was a very long article. And I remember I had talked to him, I believe, in an interview. I don't know if it ever actually got posted, but it was in one of the interviews where he was really adamant about making the end of an LCG or a game that FFG was supporting a positive, thankful, reflective thing rather than like not enough sales, doesn't work. Which is what it had been kind of previously. Yeah. We'd seen a lot of them go under, and he really wanted to spearhead this shift in understanding of games at FFG coming to a close. So I think it was particularly near and dear to his heart that the salute and the send-off did not feel as tremendous as it should have, given the history of this game for FFG. It went over to Atomic Mass, didn't last very long, and then got canned. So that's essentially where we are. That's what happened on last week. In a lot of ways, the mishandling of the end of a game was a lot of fuel in the tank that started Covenant. Hey, that's true, Zach. I mean, that's absolutely.
Which
I was there
when we were teenagers. The game I think we really got into really for the first time was the Star Wars TCG. Star Wars, no less. Here we are.
Yeah.
I'd played games before, like Pokemon. I tried to play Pokemon.
You like shuffling your deck?
Well, it's different back then. It was just RNG. It's like, oh, I didn't draw resources. I guess I'm dead. I don't even know the rules. Like, it took a long time to even get that stuff right. But the Star Wars TCG is the first one we routinely played, competed at, did well at. The whole nine yards.
Threw ourselves at that one.
They had their World Championship at August in Gen Con. They had previewed the next set, and then Wizards of the Coast just never said anything about it ever again. And the longer that went on, the more frustration and anger there was.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the end of a game, even now, it's been 6 years, 5-6 years since I've actually played X-Wing, cared about it in a serious way. And still, the announcement that it's ending had an effect on me personally. It's because it's so personal, especially these expandable lifestyle games. It is not like your favorite soap is going to be discontinued. Even that might be personal for some people. Like there's like some shampoo and conditioner I use to be like, I don't even know, it'd be devastating.
Yeah, but it's not a part of my identity, right? Like I don't meet other people who also use that same shampoo.
Yeah. So I really respect that. Andrew's take on how to end something like Netrunner, where it is going to be an emotion, especially at this point. If you're still playing X-Wing, you've been playing for a long time, as we'll see when we get to the what the future of this game looks like, which I want to talk about, because this is just a fascinating. It's another one of those. Last week we talked about Star Wars Unlimited and them self-allocating somehow, and
I'm sure they unself-allocated a little bit.
Shocked.
Can you imagine? You got an email that says actually breaking news, you can buy what you originally wanted.
So it's notable for me just because at this point I'm almost a third party to it. Like, I'm not involved, so it's less emotionally charged than when it's affecting me. And it's tough. We double down on it. A lot of times these things are personal for us because we play the game and are in these communities, and professional because it affects our business. In this case, it's like Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah.
I'm unattached from, personally and professionally. That's it. So it's a nice case study almost to get to witness, and knowing that you're not personally charged up about it and of viewing it differently.
Yeah, the thing that I keep coming up against that maybe frames this, Andrew's perspective on the end of a game and kind of the contrast with the Wizards announcement or non-announcement, and then the Asmodee announcement, which is, I think, as far as corporate announcements go, it's what you'd expect, and it's acceptable in that framework. But there's this idea that we here have been batting around for a long time about there's so much care that goes into any of these games that people outside of the hobby will just really don't understand, and it's very difficult to translate how important the game that you're pouring yourself into and the community that you're a part of and the events that you're traveling to and the things that you're thinking about all of the time relating to this one thing, how critically impactful that is on your life. And when you get the sense, and this is where I think a lot of publishers don't really understand this, but it's not even about the action or the situation in a lot of these cases. But if you get a sense that the publisher does not care about the thing by doing things like Star Wars Unlimited telling you can't get your orders because you didn't plan ahead, or doing an announcement that feels maybe a little too corporate or a little short or not celebratory enough, which is up for debate. But those when you're Wizards of the Coast and you don't say anything about Star Wars TCG ending, and to you, in your corporate mind, you say, well, we're not selling the game anymore, it's the end of the game. How players feel about that doesn't matter because there's no more purpose for them to feel about this. But I think what they don't understand is that actually does build an association with your brand, not just with the game X-Wing, but with Asmodee, Atomic Mass, those kinds of things, with Star Wars, with Wizards of the Coast. I think we still don't support Magic because of that move by Wizards. I would, as people, and curious, we happen to be business people as well, but
I'd be curious to see an alternate timeline where that didn't happen.
It was so hard for us even on Transformers.
If Covenant even exists, if that doesn't happen. But even if it does, if we are willing to engage with Wizards and Magic, because that was for the early years, there was elements of getting kicked off tables when I played Star Wars or Pokemon by the Magic players, so it's like always kind of feeling less than the people that play Magic, so it was already not a great perception. But there was serious like, I guess, as a more mature person now, hurt with Wizards as a brand and a lack of trust that they're going to handle this appropriately. And, you know, the Asmodee announcement here with X-Wing, it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, definitely.
The one line that really sticks out to me is like, while supplies last.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's like that's just kind of assumed, isn't it?
It's just a weird, but the fact that they're going to actually continue supporting the organized play and have a final world championship, I think is very good. They were going to do that with Star Wars Destiny.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic hit, and it always felt like there was a chapter that didn't get a close. It's like you missed the last day of school. You didn't get to say bye to everybody. And I think the comparable to me of how this feels emotionally is when you're really, really invested in a book series or a TV show. The way it ends, or like it gets canceled before it just gets canceled.
Yeah, Firefly got canceled. Game of Thrones ended so poorly. These kinds of examples.
Rise of Skywalker happened. So there's an emotional attachment to this. That closure is really nice. So there is going to be continued organized play and a final world championship.
Hopefully there is, yeah.
And hopefully the final world championship, to me, is a moment to really celebrate the legacy of this game and what it's been. And realistically, this game has been out for 12 years. Like, that's a really good run.
It's an incredible run. You know what's funny?
And through multiple studios.
I can't believe we got 1-2 punch by Wizards with Star Wars TG, and then Privateer Press going totally brain dead on Monpot. And then Privateer Press just got bought by Steamforged.
Well, War Machine got bought by Steamforged.
What else they got?
That's a different...
What is it, like the Goblin games?
I think they sold the current Monpot to someone else.
What about Hordes? Is that the same?
I
as
think
War
it's
Machine
attached
at
to
this
War
point?
Machine.
Okay, so they're basically gutting the assets.
Seemingly that's what happened. So, what I can tell this part.
Tell me the history of X-Wing in terms
full
of your
history.
Hold on, let me read some comments first because we do have some comments, Jonathan.
I saw the comment from Ian, and he's absolutely right. So, X-Wing is what brought me one of my best friends, Ian, which is a big part of where the Wolfpack ended up coming. Like, it's all connected. It's crazy, the tapestry.
Yeah. Jonathan, I'll take anything you got. Ian Schaefer saying X-Wing was the catalyst to over 12 years of gaming and traveling tournaments with Zach. You might say the beginnings of the Wolfpack.
He saw one of our videos and realized we were in Tulsa, I think.
Wouldn't that be weird?
And then
you're like in Oklahoma City and you're like, whoa.
Oh, that's right down the road.
Whoa. Sean Evans is in Tulsa?
Sean Evans.
Marcus, Armada finally being dropped is a good thing. AMG keeping it alive without doing anything was just a travesty. And that's a part of it too. A lot of times towards the end of these kinds of things, you start to get these feelings, and it's like, just do it already, rather than just trailing on.
I think a lot of publishers also wait too long. Like it gets to the point where it's so financially infeasible, investing more resources to end appropriately. But it's like a really good movie series or show that knows where it wanted to end the whole time and just ends. Yeah. A good example of this to me is Ted Lasso. It's like they could have had 10 seasons of that show. It's like, no, we had this one arc we were telling, it's over. There can be spinoffs or whatever you want, but they just planned it and stuck the landing.
It's a tale as old as time, dude. I mean, it's like so crazy how much we need to stop doing this. I will put a thesis on the table that Star Wars X-Wing suffered the same fate that all of Star Wars is suffering right now. But I just want to put that out there, and then we will come back to it. Jonathan, any more comments before we go through the history?
One more.
I saw one introduced to Covenant through X-Wing, which I really appreciated. That was a good one. What's up, Tony, too? Did Tony change his hammock picture just because I kept dogging him about it? Now he's in the pool. Dang, this dude's relaxing, man.
Man, I didn't know this. Another good friend of mine, Matt Coles. Saying X-Wing is one of the few times I demoed a game at Gen Con and immediately had to buy it. They nailed the feel. I made a miniature game that finally felt approachable.
It was X-Wings versus TIE Fighters.
And pre-painted, pre-assembled miniatures for so many people was what was necessary. I remember when they first came out, the number of people complaining about a $15 ship.
Ugh.
It's like, what do you mean it's $15 for one miniature? And I was just perplexed. I was like, I would pay so much more not to have to assemble or paint my... We just started like a year before that playing War Machine. I was like, I'm trying this to is play. Worth every penny.
I'm trying to play. Joshua Danon saying, X-Wing videos, how I found Covenant. I think there's a ton of people in our YouTube audience that got here from X-Wing World Finals coverage, Gen Con World Finals coverage, Worlds, all of this stuff. Those early Paul Heaver matches. You remember those X-Wing ties, the B-Wing match. There were truly some of the greatest.
Paul versus Dallas, and then Paul versus Nathan.
There were things happening on the X-Wing table that were more engaging than a lot of Star Wars movies. Like, truly.
At this point, most Star Wars movies.
The excitement of a lot of those matches, it was just unbelievable coming down to the wire, and you could feel the audience was watching. Jonathan, can you get the ADD and D?
ADD.
To give context on how old X-Wing was,
or add-and,
it was not normal for top 8s or tournaments to be streamed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were filming videos. I remember one of those Gen Con tournaments going to 3 a.m. Jonathan stayed and filmed that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way people could watch it is 2 months later, edited, clipped, all the stuff we put on it. But you couldn't find, there wasn't footage of this. At some point, streaming. I remember us streaming I remember Adepticon, we streamed on the most shoestring stream equipment imaginable.
Yeah, Jonathan put it out on a Telegraph.
Like, somehow.
Can you pull that comment back up?
Yeah.
He was about to pull a John Cam back up.
Oh, you want to pull the John Cam?
I can feel it.
Go there first if you want. You're pressing 20 buttons. It's like operating a mech back there.
It kind of is. Who was a Y-Wing, Yellow Squadron, something like that? They were a big. They were like the first people
Gold
I
Squadron.
saw.
Gold Squadron.
That were doing it.
Yeah, Ron.
Like they brought the booth to the thing. They had the wires running. Like I was very, very impressed by that setup.
They went hard.
That very vividly.
I remember we just started kind of showing up and doing that, and nobody was doing it previously. And then we just became really good friends with everybody at FFG. And then it was kind of like, hey, we'll create a little space for you if you want to record this, because they knew that the output was going to be like really good. And so I was like, that was cool. That was cool to have all those relationships and kind of get into it helped us get into the industry in a big way. X-Wing and Netrunner both. You
were talking about how important it was for FFG, but X-Wing was a huge moment in Covenant's history. Mm-hmm. That was the first, because before that, our first product we supported was the Spoils.
That's right.
And that was 2 or 3 years in, and then it went away. And then it was Monster Apocalypse. And then it went away just late 2011 before we opened locally in 2012. That was our primary product that we could sell, so that was an interesting set of math that I was having to do. But 2012, X-Wing and Netrunner both were it's even on the website, on the story, it talks about 2012, 2013, how critical X-Wing and Netrunner were to us. Our videos were getting way more views. We started doing the unboxing. We did the little hand cam version first.
Covenant templates.
The first unboxing actually was X-Wing. The Set 2 preview kit showed up. It's like Slave 1, Boba Fett's fire spray now, renamed by Disney. And I forget the Falcon was in that set. But they sent us a pre-release kit that had one of each ship.
Did we crack it? I don't want to crack it.
They sent us a pre-release kit.
It's the tiny edge.
I think it's appreciated. Yeah, really. It's
I mean, I understand. I understand. But that showed up, and I remember I texted Jonathan, and I was like, "Hey, this showed up. We could film and unbox. I could unbox this stuff because we're gonna give it away as prizes at the pre-release tournament, one of each ship. But it's like we could open it and show it and preview the cards." And no one else has this yet, so that would be cool. Mm-hmm. So then we filmed it. You can go back and watch it, but we're in our 1.0, the store, our first local space, and the store's open. It's like 8 p.m. when we're filming this, and it's me on a camera by myself.
Yeah,
opening this and talking it through.
And there's people behind us.
There's people in the background.
Which I kind of like that vibe. Yeah, I really did like that vibe.
It's like those DJ videos you show me where the people are dancing in the background.
The guys doing the thing. Zach in the boiler room. Did we not unbox the core set at Gen Con?
So we didn't not be a video.
No, we did though, Jonathan. Don't you remember that? We unboxed the X-Wing core set on a hotel table.
Well, I have pictures of that. Maybe we did film it. We did film it. I have the giant beard.
I'll find the video.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. So. What, do you want to chronologically go through this?
I do want to chronologically, but I want to read that add-in. I never got a chance to do that. I really appreciated that.
Maybe the stream is the closure, people.
Add-in X-Wing was the first tabletop game I ever played, the first thing that got me active at an FLGS, the first competitive thing I'd done in a long time, and why I joined the TC community. Great times. Isn't that awesome? I mean, that's beautiful. This
hobby is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And a force for good.
Yeah, man, I believe that.
So, Gen Con 2012 is where it all starts.
Hey, Board Game Rap, good to see you.
So, we show up at Gen Con 2012, and that's where they launch X-Wing and Netrunner. And I've been to a lot of Gen Cons. That was the longest line at Gen Con I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
You had to wait in line to buy X-Wing and or Netrunner, and it was really crazy. They were not ready. So, their booth is way better now in terms of handling an audience, but...
Cheers, Lee, thanks.
You just long, literally the giant Gen Con hall, this huge line. You had to go through in between the line to get anywhere at Gen Con several times to get around. Mm-hmm. there's just people standing there with like a stack of Netrunner, because it's back in the day when you had to buy 3 Netrunner core sets to get a play set. And X-Wing, it's like people are just holding all this stuff, and it's crazy because people could have just left the line with their hands full. Mm-hmm. So there are things that happen in my life that really reinforce the idea that most people are pretty decent. Mm-hmm. That's one of them. Mm-hmm. It's like you're in this giant hall, you've got a pile of stuff. There's no way that you can police this. It's not how their booth works anymore. Mm-hmm. But crazy huge line. I remember we bought these things, went back to the hotel. 2 minutes into playing, it's like, this game is insane. Mm-hmm. The ships, everything about the experience.
It was you were immediately in Star Wars. It was real Star Wars.
And to me, that moment in tabletop feels, it's probably not as extreme, but it has to feel like what people felt like in 77 watching Star Wars for the first time. As a tabletop game player who had played games, that it was clear this is a moment in time that's happening.
Something special is happening.
Nothing has been this before.
Yeah.
On this level.
That's really fair to say.
Of this nature and quality. And it was Star Wars. And Star Wars had just been bought by Disney, that had been announced. So like the hypometer was crazy. Mm-hmm. Like really, really going wild. So comes out, or pre-releases 2012, and then it comes out at some point, and our local space was open. We like immediately selling out of everything. Huge local community, tons of interest, people coming in. It's both Netrunner and X-Wing. Crazy time for FFG, mm-hmm. and for us as it happens. Mm-hmm. And you just see it. Like we post the Wave 2 unboxings, and I don't know, at that point probably most views on a video was 500,000 mm-hmm. if we're lucky. Mm-hmm. And suddenly it's 30,000 views on this video. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
That was a cool feeling.
One thing that was weird to me, I was looking back through my pictures this weekend, and in my mind, there's a peak of X-Wing, which is probably like 2014-ish. Mm-hmm. Just in my personal experience. 2014, 2015. It's probably 2015.
Is it when Paul Heaver flew through those asteroids?
No. That's pretty...
Yeah, well, I still will say that Paul Heaver showed up to that Worlds tournament flying an X-Wing onto the roof of the building and getting out in his rebel gear and just walking through the door, because that dude was built to fly X-Wing ships.
I just remember the one time he wins Worlds, grabs his trophy, and he's like, I've got to go. I've got to catch my flight. And he's just like out, gone. But the thing that I was going to say is 2012 was the first time FFG hosted the World Championship. And it was at their not current space. It was the space before that.
Yeah.
And that's where at that World Championship, they were like, hey, everyone here gets a core set of Star Wars LCG.
Mm-hmm. There's like 80 of us in there.
Yeah. And that was exciting. I remember that was just a notable moment for me as a person. But X-Wing, even from it was the first time I'd seen a game so disproportionately underprinted. They had trouble keeping things in stock. And also, all the things that were built, systems that were built over time didn't exist. The regional system, the open series, the cover, all that stuff that in my mind is so tied to, because I loved X-Wing, played a lot of X-Wing up front, but it wasn't until the open series that I really got in. Like I played at the World Championship stuff, but that is when I was like competing at the game. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of going back through these photos, and it's like, 2012, 2013, there's like less photos of X-Wing than I expected. There's good photos. Like there's a lot of good times that were happening, but then I noticed 2014 was the year where it's like, X-Wing is. I've got all these pictures of ships and like at the tournaments and going to San Antonio and going over here and going to Chicago to Adepticon, and the one of my favorite photos is James Sawyer's, a local that I adore. Helped me paint the red stripes on my TIE Interceptor before they sold that as a product, which I was really amped about. But all that to say, incredible game. It was just so crazy for Covenant, and I had not seen. I would say before that, it was like everything we'd done outside of Star Wars TCG was like super indie. Mm-hmm. Like Spoils and Monpark are like mega indie.
Yeah.
And so being a part of something that big was wild.
Yeah, Star Wars too. I mean, that's.
And we had another problem that it actually ended up creating for us was in 2010 at MonCon, a Monster Apocalypse event we hosted, we launched the ability for everyone on our website to post blogs.
Yeah.
And X-Wing almost broke our website.
Dude, Theorist crushed it.
Yeah, like
Jeff.
in the best way and worst way.
I wonder if Jeff's still out there.
He's got to be.
Jeff, if you're
somewhere
out there, if you're watching for some reason, I would love to know that you're still around.
So we kind of became the unofficial home of X-Wing content.
Yeah.
Like all the
on the backs of all the users. I mean, we didn't.
Yeah,
do a lot.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we had the
amazing.
system set up.
It was just social media for X-Wing.
Yeah, and it really was. And so we had these systems set up, but it actually led to like some big problems because the way we built it, Philip, good longtime friend who built that early version of the website, I don't think he ever anticipated the scale that it came about, and technology changed and stuff. But that led to like the 2014, 2015 web project that was terrible and terrifying, and that's a story for another time. But
there were so many X-Wing blogs and users and stuff that the database got way bigger than we
couldn't back it up.
We're ready.
Couldn't change it. Couldn't move it. It's just like, oh man, what do we do with this?
Absolutely unruly.
But yeah, it was just.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
It was so big that no one could move it. I mean, we were talking to top men, and they're just like, I don't know what happened here.
It was a top woman that did it. It was Trisha that did it. She was the only one who could figure it out, and she came in, and Trisha was so hilarious because she came in, and her laptop's just like covered in like punk rock stickers, and she's just like really just like, all right, let's
exactly
do this
as expected.
She's like dragging a hard drive around, plugs it in, like what you'd expect from like a sci-fi like hacker. And she was like, I got this thing whipped. And so she's got all these special programs and stuff, and she ends up being able to back it up. And then she passed it off to Chrissy, who was our longtime web developer, and was able to actually get that usable and kind of reorient things. But yeah, it was like amazing. We went through a lot of different developers that were like, yeah, this is no problem. And then they come back a week later, like, we can't work with this. Yeah. It's unusable.
We had multiple they would do everything except moving the data. Mm-hmm. And they would get to that and then bail.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, can't do that. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
there's a lot of X-Wing blogs.
Yeah. So, early on, the classic, right? Nowhere near enough product. It would sell it every time it came out. They would reprint, it would sell out. They would reprint, it would sell out. They did waves of product with ships and whatnot. They really, I said this over and over again in a lot of our content back then, but one of my favorite things of FFG, particularly at the time, was their just continual improvement, right? Kaizen as a concept. And X-Wing was a huge part of that. And Netrunner, just building their entire organized play system. Because prior to that, their organized play system was very ill supported. And it was like all their games at the time were LCGs.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Like they don't have resources to do a lot of these things.
Which is kind of the way I prefer it now, which is weird enough. But let's talk about the reality of X-Wing as well. Right? So 1.0, here's the thing though. There were some critical things on the design, the early design, that I think caused some long-term issues, which I saw one of the comments today. Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Saying it. I remember you complaining about this so much because Dennis just loved abusing this. He would just run those Falcons or whatever the actual.
No, literally, 2 YT1300s. It wouldn't even do that. It'd just be on. So this is like an X-Wing mat. Can we go top down? Hand me a coaster. Get me my console. Hand me a coaster. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is loosely the size of it. It's a little bigger, but of a Falcon base. And so if this was an X-Wing mat, I start on this side over here, and they start over here where these dice are. But a few things. I hate the Millennium Falcon. Just strictly. Every game I've ever played, it's always busted. It was busted in Destiny. It was busted in the... Anyways. So he would put them... Let's say this line is the border. You'd start the 2 ships over here. They go one forward, one forward, one forward. Then they would K-turn. So they go here, and they get a stress, but now they're facing this way. Then they go one forward, one forward, and one forward. And the reason they could do this is because they have 360-degree shooting range.
That's all the way around.
So
Yeah.
Let's see. What can I string together here? This bag. Okay. This is our range template, and this crease is range 1. This is range 2. This is range 3. So they can shoot 360 from their base. So they literally. Now, if you're a ship that doesn't have that, right? Let's say these Falcons are going this way, and I'm this little bitty ship. If I'm flying behind you,
this would be really helpful. This is your firing arc. Right, so that's your arrow pointing this direction.
Oh yeah, I'm facing this way. So if I'm a little ship behind you, normally ships can shoot in this range, as you would expect. So they're shooting you, and you're shooting them. Then they turn around, and they're here. Well, we're all still shooting each other. That's fine. But then they go here, and your option is like jump way over here, if that's what you chose to do, or bump, and then do nothing. And then who knows what they want to do at that one. But the point of it is, 360-degree arcs means you don't have to care about maneuvering.
It broke one of the fundamental principles of the game.
And the most fun part of X-Wing to me was the maneuvering and the positioning and the set the dial, and you don't know where your opponent's going to end up, but like they don't have any penalty for that. So they're just these big ships with lots of health, low defense. They don't roll a lot of dice, who don't have to care about maneuvering.
Yeah, they're just dice machines.
And then it just like kept coming. The jump masters, like time and time again.
Yeah, so that to me always felt like the critical error. And we would find out in second edition, it was like, yeah, we got to fix this. So we're going to make our 360 turrets where you have to take an action to turn the turret, which solves this problem. But to me, Zach, what happened here, and this is what I wanted to get on the table. Maybe y'all agree with this. Tell me if you agree with this. This is too cynical of a view. But X-Wing suffered from two things in my mind. One was, I feel like the original trilogy stuff should have been separate from everything else. You know, like where you have eras that you play. That's the only way you play them together. I don't want to see Naboo ships fighting against X-Wings. Ever. But second, it was that they just... It felt at a certain point, we need to find content to make for this game in the Star Wars universe. So how can we find the content, regardless of like whether or not it's enjoyable or like people want this? It felt very much like the Disney squeeze machine, which is like, can we make more Star Wars things? Squeeze until you have a new Star Wars thing. And like some of those ships were designed interestingly, but like once you have a meta that is, you know, Jump Masters and X-Wing or Falcons and these big ships, they're just kind of meandering around. Like you said, the fun thing about Star Wars dogfights and what we get from that original trilogy is having these TIE fighters and X-Wings and B-Wings and A-Wings and swirling around, interceptors and advanced and all of this stuff, just like, wow, these crazy dogfights, and they're behind you and now they're in front of you and now they made a maneuver and oh my gosh, what's happening? And oh, they're equipped with proton torpedoes. Oh my god. That is the fun of the dogfighting element of X-Wing. That's kind of the promise of the game. And it eventually became very much swamped towards giant ships maximizing efficiency and not caring about where they want to be on the board, because that's the best way to win the game, because it's the most consistent thing. So it's almost like get to a certain point of your dogfighting game and then say, in my mind, it's like, we're going to end that. These are all the ships in the original trilogy.
Can't do that, man. Board's got to get the tendies.
Well, but no, we're going to end it there as far as sculpts are concerned. And then once or twice a year, we're going to introduce maybe, let's do some alternate poses. Some like TIE interceptors that are swooping through or something like that. And then maybe once a year, we'll release a big old card pack. And it's like, this is the only cards legal in the game. And it's going to change everything.
Well, I think it ran into...
And you do trilogy early, and then you do sequels if you...
That would definitely help.
If you really want to...
Well...
Just throw it out.
Yeah. I mean, so a game came out in 2012. Force Awakens hit in 2015.
Yep. And hit it did.
So it took a while. I mean, you're 3 years in before any new content is really coming for you to base things on. They would have a better time of it today because there's more. Always more. But
is that the problem, you know?
It is the problem. I think
it's the problem. There's a confidence in ending something.
2.0 to me attempted to solve 1.0's problems.
Yeah.
And there were development problems. It was very clear. Like the 360 arc was a problem, and just its prevalence and everything that was going on. But it also hit the normal thing that expandable games hit, which is at a certain point the game becomes a game different than the game that you started with.
Yeah.
And it also, there's so many things out, it's hard to release something that is not objectively better or worse than something that's already out.
Yeah. And their numbers were really scrunched.
And
like 1 to 3 on everything.
That's right. It's like, well, the highest attack so far is 3. Going to 4, like TIE Phantom was crazy.
Massive.
It's like, this is going to 5 would be insane. Like this would be too good. I don't care how many points it is. It's like so good. But it's funny. The 2.0 X-Wing reminds me a lot of 2.0 Thrones.
So man, it's so true. Yeah.
You understand the problems that you've got. It
makes sense.
Yeah. It's so hard to do this though.
Yeah.
To actually 2.0 it, because I think ultimately 2.0 came out and it was trying to address a lot of problems. And as an example, their attachment, what they didn't want to do is start the game over and force everyone to buy all the old stuff again that you already have. So they did these conversion kits, which it's all new stat cards, it's all new bases for the ships, and the whole 9 yards. And on the surface, that seems like a really good decision.
Mm-hmm. And they did the digital thing, right, where they could adjust things on the app.
They can adjust. Yeah. They don't print the points on the cards anymore.
I actually hate that now, by the way, and I want to get into not. And I loved it then. I loved it for Infinity. I loved it for. It makes so much sense as a developer. You can change things. You don't have to reprint. But I do think we're not in tabletop games to look at an app. But here we go.
Sure. Well, you don't. Once you show up to the game with a list, you're not looking at the app anymore.
I don't really look at the app ever.
Yeah. I mean, I build decks digitally all the time. It's the same exactly. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. The main thing to me is
you're right about that.
Because they chose to not completely reboot. It makes sense as an X-Wing player at the time. It's like, well, I bought all this stuff. Like, I don't, whatever. But it seeds so many of the same problems that you're going to have, no matter how you slice it, which is, as an example, they introduced at that time new factions as well. That's where we got the Republic and the Separatists and all the prequel stuff, which I was excited about. Side note. It's like, something fresh, a whole new faction, etc. But they had the classic non-rotating game problem, which is, if you're a new player, it is so hard to get an X-Wing.
Right, you got to pick up the 18 releases to get the one card.
Steele's line, man, I played X-Wing. When it went to 2.0, I couldn't keep up with 7 factions.
Yeah.
So it's so much, it's so dense. There's so many things. Even learning the game would show up. It's like you could have an army I've never seen before. When you start at the fresh, no one has anything, and it's like, I have X-Wings, you have TIE Fighters. And it's the simplest version of the game.
It's what we all fell in love with.
Yeah, really. It's like, oh, okay. So you don't get that moment again. But the other part is you essentially, new players are having a hard time. Old players have to go through all this thing. And it's like all these decisions were made with 2.0 that I understand why they were made. But
they look great.
It really just sort of moved the goalpost instead of starting over. Because the other part is, I remember at the time, it's like, we didn't give ourselves enough granularity was the key word, because attack values are 1 to 3 and point values are this. And so we need, like, they went from 100 points to 200 points. It's like that way, technically something that's 197 points couldn't have existed in 1.0. You have half points now, right? Because there's twice as many numbers.
Yeah.
But interestingly, it again defeats. I think at the time I was like, that makes so much sense. Okay, cool.
That's why I think we were wrong about second edition.
Yeah, I think the main thing though is that the charm and appeal of X-Wing to me was actually in its simplicity. So you can add granularity, you can add the points not being on the thing, and now you have to have the app, and now you have to do this thing, and you can add all this stuff, but actually you can't ever recapture that magic unless you're truly willing to start over. And to me, if you could choose between 1 to 3 attack dice on a stat card or 1 to 10, 10 actually means you have way more space. You can have some ships with 1 all the way up to 10. You have a lot of options on how you bloat out a ship. Same with defense dice, same with all this stuff. But in doing so, you solve the development problem. But you're not actually on the front end making something a better experience. So all that to say, it's tough because you have a license that you have to keep serving.
Right.
Or you lose it. You have a machine that's printing money. And people that have jobs and developers that have been doing X-Wing for X number of years that you don't want to fire. So you kind of get backed in a corner. Logically, it makes sense. Like, how do we forge a path through here to make this sustainable? But at the same time, it's almost like starting a TV show without an end in mind. The design itself, I don't think can support 13 years of development.
Sure.
And be the game that you fell in love with in 2012.
Yeah.
So it was a good attempt. And I have some context from a player on what happened. And, there's things that happened. Then the pandemic, then the switch to atomic mass over FFG and changes. And it even from the story, there are players that were frustrated with various things that happened. But it seems like an honest attempt to address problems. But I actually, and I'm not, I'm generally consider myself an optimist. I don't know that the problem was solvable. In that moment, the answer being, okay, let's do X-Wing 2.0, could also have been, let's find a way to stick the landing.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I actually don't. And as you see with games like Lord of the Rings LCG, which has been around since 2010, I think, 2011.
I thought it was like 1800s.
Yeah.
That thing's been cranking around, dude.
Even though there's almost never new product for that, is a product that continues to sell and be reprinted, and they keep doing it. So to me, it may not make you money. In that case, it does. But like if X-Wing had just been like, you know what, if new ships come out in movies that are worth doing, we will do them. We're gonna stop this 3 times a year thing. We're just going to make it super easy to buy all the old stuff, because when new people want to get involved, we're going to make that super easy. And we're going to perfect this thing that's in front of us. So viewing it almost more like a board game. Like Catan has been in print for 20 plus years. And it's still just, I mean, technically there's seafarers and on it goes. But it's Catan. Mm-hmm. And so there's a version of X-Wing somewhere in there in the first 5 years that is perfect to me. Mm-hmm. Especially if you can fix things like the 360 Arc and the Falcon and this kind of thing. That I think I might still engage with the game on some level today, had that been the path that was chosen.
Yeah, see, if I could fully read, and that's when second edition was popping, you know, it was like finally, because let's not forget, this was 2+ years, maybe more than that. Well, plus implies more. 2+ years of dissatisfaction with the metagame and the turrets and the lack of maneuvering and the healing and all of this. There was so much angst in that moment that's easy to forget whenever second edition shows up. It's like finally they're doing something about this. So that was a big moment where it's like I think Davey probably fought for that and was like, this is unsustainable. The game cannot function if we keep going with these stat lines. Sure. And so you could have said, like, to your point, all right, we're going to end it. Or you could say, we're going to make it better. We're going to we know what the problems are. We're going to fix the problems. They did know what the problems were, and they did fix the problems. But like you said, somewhere in there, by fixing the problems, you lose the simplicity, because fixing the problems is complex, because the problems are complex. And so you have to introduce more and more features and granularity to accommodate the original design. And in my mind, like, my favorite thing would have been, and again, this is a retrospect, totally armchair quarterbacking. It's like, I think you do original trilogy block, and you don't have that. Let's say we cut the Falcon and we increase the points to a ludicrous amount, where it's like, okay, this is fair enough. And then we end at, like, you know, your 5 or 6 tie designs, and then your various rebel stuff plus the freighters. All right, we're done. We're done with original trilogy. Everything's cool. Maybe we release a new pack of cards for original trilogy set every year.
I think it's a smart way to handle it. They could have had a prequel era, and they could have had a sequel era.
And then it's like, boom, this next year, get ready. Here comes prequel era, and your tournaments are either prequel or original trilogy or sequel.
I think if at 2.0 timeline they had released the prequel era, and it was different points, I mean, it's the same core rule set.
Yeah.
Maneuvering, dials, templates, etc. But like, whole new card pool, whole new ship thing. I think that would have been significantly better for that game. And then sort of like you have a legacy format in a card game, having the OG trilogy format. And I would have put together, which they did kind of do at some point, sort of easy ways to enter that. It's like, here's your Imperial Fleet $300 SKU that's got all this, you know, the recommended ships, and it's all the cards. Like, here's your, if you want to play this old format, buy the Empire set and you get all the stuff. Same with the Rebel set.
I'm there.
And then, you know, you have movies, Rogue One, you have shows, or you can occasionally be like, oh, it makes sense. We're going to add this ship because it was shown in this timeline. Here's the ship, here's the cards, here's this rule format.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, we have the prequel era, same thing. Like, we're getting new content around there. Anyways, so
tell me this: do you think X-Wing needed one more randomizer to not create a linear metagame? Like, I say that because if you froze the original trilogy stuff and you said, okay, would you be interested in playing this for the next 10 years? Is the answer yes, because it's always varied enough? Or is the answer no, because every match is going to turn out the exact same once I know the list? Are the dice enough? Are the crits enough?
I think the variance is enough in terms of dials and positioning and the dice being rolled.
But do you agree, though, that at a certain point, the dials, everybody knows where every ship's going? If you're really good at X-Wing, you know exactly where they're setting, and you know exactly what you're setting.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's good.
I think it's like betting on hands of poker.
Mm-hmm.
You know your odds, and you know how likely they are to make that maneuver. But you get in these little mini games of, well, they think I'm going to do a 4K turn. So if I actually do a 3 right turn, they aren't going to be able to shoot me and I'll have better position. And it's like...
Nice. So you could play that forever.
I think...
I could play poker forever.
I think there's a... If you could just freeze time in like 20, let's say 16, and make adjustments to that card pool to remove your jump meta. You know, there are metas that were not as healthy as others. Mm-hmm. But if you find your way into a pretty healthy, and again, you can adjust that meta all the time.
Yeah, just new cards.
You don't even need new cards. Particularly once you take the point costs away. Mm-hmm. But even then, they had metas where we're gonna errata how this thing works in the Jump Master, and then suddenly new things are good. So you can technically keep supporting it without new releases. Is the main point, and I think.
But where's the money in that?
Well, that's why I'm pointing to like Catan or Lord of the Rings. It's like if right now there is a healthy 1.0 community and someone is like turns 20. You know, I know people in their early 20s getting hooked by Star Wars, right? Or I have nephews that turned 10 or 11 and watched a Star Wars and then watched all of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And suddenly they're like, I want to really be into Star Wars. And they see this. Anyways, that is going to, in the long run, if you frame it more like a Catan or Lord of the Rings LCG, I think the long tail of that revenue is actually significant. Yeah. And all you have to do is keep printing it.
That long-term vision issue, man.
Yeah, but short-term. And like I said, if they're even right now, like I own a lot of old stuff right now. I should have brought it in. But if there was all those people I used to play with, if some number of them are still playing, a lot of them are. We'll get to the continuation committee in a second. And there was a $300 pack I could buy to just buy all the Imperial stuff and like show up. And it's like, it's pre-built lists inside there. You can just do your thing and whatever. That would still be tempting. Mm-hmm. Like as it sits now. So, and you know, maybe they'll close the book on X-Wing and do something like this.
Maybe they would. That'd be actually very cool.
It's like, we're going to keep making this available.
Yeah.
We're just not going to do new. But they cited in one of the announcements, I think from Atomic Mass, the part of this, I don't know how true it is, but is related to production costs. Like inflation plus production cost of pre-painted, pre-assembled miniatures overseas, etc., is getting too much to continue producing. But
I mean, it's too much if people won't pay it.
If you raise the price and people still buy it, it's not too much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You want to get into your X-Wing notes? I'd be curious from the player's perspective.
So 1.0.
Before you guys jump into that, I got a quick question that I said I would have you guys address.
Okay. Yeah. Real quick. Let's talk about it. I remember being so hopeful when we shot that tutorial with Davey. It was like, dang, that was good, great content. That's some of the best content we've ever done.
As someone deep into X-Wing at that time, that was like 2015, 2016, 2017 is really when I was competitive at X-Wing. All of the things they were saying, and that's it. I don't fault them. Mm-hmm. It was all very logical, but all the things they were saying at the time, I was like, oh yeah, great answer. Then I converted. Then I went to that tournament and I got to the top 4 against Royal Beef, and I was like, "This is the same game. Mm-hmm. Like this is the same problems exist." Anyways, well, more.
We've learned a lot about that, especially with Warlord. It's like keep it as true to its roots as you can. Actually, Nick's saying, "I'm toyed with the idea of jumping into this game for play at home with my kids. The original core set is still available. Would you recommend the old or new core set?"
I imagine they'll both be great.
I can't even remember. I mean, the old core set was incredible because that's how we all fell in love with the game.
2 TIE fighters and an X-Wing.
Don't you need like 2 of those, 3 of those to play a full game?
Yeah, but you don't buy it. If you can, you just buy the expansions. So like they had individual X-Wings and TIE fighters.
Right.
You could and like a TIE Advanced, and they had one other ship. Oh, Y-Wing. From the onset.
Those Y-Wings.
Didn't they have that escalation format too, where like you kill the TIE fighter, new TIE fighter? I thought that was really cool. It's a really good way to get a lot of value out of it.
And it's just objectives and stuff too, but it's your... It's so weird because it's so good on its face, but it actually is just not. It's not. You just want to line them up and shoot them.
In practice.
Yeah.
Sanjuro, yes, I've seen a few people say
this. Sanjuro.
If you could ask the guys, if you were to make your perfect X-Wing cube set, what would it be? I'm ready to buy up stuff for the first time for me and my kids.
I'd almost just go to a couple of those finals games and just rebuild those lists.
Totally.
Well, that's going to be the best list.
And I think that's hitting at the point I'm saying is there's a whole X-Wing audience that is there, that could be there, that would never go play a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard, even right now. Go try to get an X-Wing. I'm terrified of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was very competitive with the game for years, and I still own a lot of it. Like, and it's just like too much. Anyways, so X-Wing comes out in 2012, goes crazy. Then they have a series of waves that sell out immediately. They eventually get to the point where they're printing enough product, and it's not just immediately sold out. They introduced tons of organized play efforts and regionals. They had all the fancy dice that you could win at those things and the templates. We launched our templates and our tokens and the Awaken templates in 2015. That was a notable product for us. Looking at you, old Johnny boy. Remember those red ones came out and I was like stomping around at how crazy it was?
Force Awaken templates.
Yeah, the red and black.
Yeah.
And then Open Series was incredible organized play support. That's one of that to me was the first big organized play I've been part of in like a serious way. It was like, oh, this is what this can look like, which reminds me a lot of like now Fab, but Fab's even a derivative past that. So, but by 2015, 2016, there's problems really starting to be felt. And the more competitive it gets, the more obvious it becomes because people are incentivized to really figure it out. Then you do, and it's like, well, I double Falcon, please God, no.
Yeah, and they had that weird healing loop, whatever that was, where every time it moved, it could roll a die to maybe heal with Chewie or something.
Oh, yeah. There was a C-3PO that would add a shield back every time.
Yeah, and then you become like, oh, I can just take this game to time because I can't die and my ships are worth more. And people beat people.
Well, and unfortunately, I think the C-3PO card, it's like literally, it's a tiny little miniature card, was in the Tantive box, I think, which was a $150 or $100 SKU. And it was sold out, and you couldn't get it. And then, so when you could find it online, it'd be people are paying like $100 for that card. It's crazy.
So wild.
But so then the list become pretty evident, and it's like, oh, double jump masters or triple jump masters. And like, okay. And then everyone at your local, like half people at your local, are showing up with that, and it's like, oh man, what has happened? So, and it just kept compounding, And they did some really cool designs. Like the Ghost is one of my favorite ships from the game. It has a little shuttle that pops out of the back, and it does this. This is super cool. And TIE Phantom was a great ship. Just TIE Defender was a cool ship. And they're just really cool. And then heading into 2016, 2017 is presumably when they start working on 2.0. 2018 is when 2.0 comes out. So they had 6 years of content. They had these kits you could buy. You could replace all the ship stat cards and the bases and the dials and the whole thing. And that is sort of where this story picks up.
Okay.
I'm just going to read this. My friend Glenn, who, there it is.
Add-in paying $100 for a C3PO.
Yeah, it's crazy times. And it just kind of, this is the period that I'm super unfamiliar with because I played 2.0. I converted all my stuff. I spent like 8 hours in the store one day, just like punching out all the dials and it's a lot.
We've seen your Ashes video, so we know.
Yeah, it was not ideal. And then I played in like the first regional season. We hosted a regional, and in the top 4, I played against the Rebel Beef list.
Which is what?
It was just a very tanky list that didn't care about maneuvering. And I was playing, of course, Imperial Aces. So I was like super delicate but maneuverable TIE fighters and TIE interceptors and TIE phantoms and stuff. And about halfway through the game, he's essentially like a full control deck in a card game.
Got it. So just unmovable.
Yeah, and like
mass.
Kills a ship. And then the goal after that is just like, don't lose ships. Like once I lose one of my ships, you're ahead on points. So just run.
Take it to time.
And about halfway through it, he's like, I'm really jealous. I wish I could play the ships you're playing. I'm like, why didn't you? And he's like, I think this is the one that gives me the best shot to win. I was like, do you enjoy that list? He's like, no, not really. And I'm just like, no one's having a good time. Why are we here?
Yeah.
And then it's like the winner gets a set of plastic templates. Like, what are we doing? Like, what? You spent all day playing X-Wing. Like, this is, anyways. So that's when I was, after all of that, and it was just like a lot, and there were a ton of factions, and the points were changing. There was a lot to keep up with. I'd already, heading into 2.0, I was pretty burnt on X-Wing from years of competing aggressively, probably more than was healthy, and also the meta being so taxing the whole time. And me it's the same old song verse with me playing Viscerai and Fab. It's like me trying to make a more delicate thing
my own heart
work. Never as bad as the stuff Steven plays, but close. You know what I mean? Like it's like I played
about a half tier up.
I played in Pure Laces when they were good and when they were bad. And when they were good, I had some great tournaments. And when they were bad, I had a lot of mid tournaments. Mm-hmm. And that's just like what it was. So that's when I exited, and that's when this story picks off. So Glenn's saying, I think if I had to boil it down, I would say X-Wing 2.0 made an intuitive sense, but one, addition changes are hard for people, and two, the goal of 2.0 was to make X-Wing more open to people, but it didn't. It didn't mean folks didn't have to buy all the ships. They had to buy all the ships and the cardboard. It wasn't until hyperspace, which I don't know what that is, they realized an effective rotation was necessary to make entry possible. Additionally, the app didn't actually arrive on time and was broken for a long time until, and then in quotes, or in parentheses, I believe, not certain, end of parentheses, was broke. It was eventually broken forever by the same ransomware that defeated Keyforge.
Oh, really?
Also, people thought they wanted point changes, but eventually the grinders in the community hated it because it broke their broken combos and made things difficult to track.
Right.
Point 6, they decided to hand it off to Atomic Mass Games. The FFG fans were stoked. New face, no history of managing the game. They thought it was going to be great. And then what Star Wars X-Wing needed was stabilizing. They didn't need fixes. The game wasn't broken. The structure around the game was. Atomic Mass relatively quickly began futzing with it, including but not limited to changing the entire point system and adding things like new ranges, like new distance range. Yeah, I didn't know this.
4 and 5 or something?
Which they didn't have templates for, but required people to 3D print for themselves.
No. And let me pick up on that for just 1 second, because there's commentary coming. There's commentary coming through on the chat too about, can I just 3D print the ships? Can I just use cardboard tokens? Of course you can. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can take your favorite Magic the Gathering deck and print it out on a printer and play it if you'd like. That's not the thing. The thing is that most of us, I would say, getting into X-Wing, want to just buy something, get a beautiful ship that we can look at on the table that looks exactly like a TIE fighter or an X-Wing, and we want a rule set where we can move it around and fire, and we want the templates to be able to do that effectively. I think what is misunderstood often is the desire for people to engage with an already very time-consuming hobby by adding more and more time-consuming pieces to it. Now I've got to find the 3D print files. Now I've got to find a 3D printer. Now I've got to print them out. They're not going to look as good. They're not pre-painted. I think these kinds of things.
Miniature gamers are most unlikely to understand that.
Yes.
They're the most patient people on the planet.
Yeah, and X-Wing players are by and large not miniatures gamers.
That's right.
They're closer to card gamers than anything else.
I 100% agree.
Or board gamers.
I think it was the card game, board gamer entry point to miniatures.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to do any of the hobby half.
Yes.
So, okay.
So 3D printing range rulers is just like you're cutting 95% of your audience, if not more.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out at that as well.
Yeah. So
not even close.
One of the comments John flashed was the hyperspace was a rotating format that only included things released in 2.0.
Got it.
And it's, I think, a smaller pool of things.
Got it.
So let's see. And they didn't come out with a commercial product, which included the new ranges for months, if not closer to a year after releasing.
Wow, where you could just buy and have the new ranges.
Each change continued to shed more players. Amid this, they moved from the standard X-Wing dogfight to a hard push into objectives. We played that on stream at some point. Finally, with sales seemingly flatlining, they mostly moved to cardboard, especially scenario and entry-level play, which requires no points. Most changes continued to alienate existing players while also not creating new ones.
Right. And that's a classic death trap right there.
He said there's a conspiracy theory that this was handled this way on purpose, but I think Hanlon Razor's quote is worth quoting here. It's not me, so I'm quoting him. Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity.
Hey,
or
we've
in
been
this
talking
case,
about that a lot.
Yeah, I said that quote not that long ago.
Or incompetence or whatever.
Or incompetence or just lack of awareness or
ignorance, misunderstanding.
And he says Atomic Mass fans will tell you that they were handed more than they could handle, and it was never a project that they truly cared about. And he said, but I have lots of things in my job that I don't want to do, but I do them because I'm asked to or it's required of me. They're a small studio, but I also think they should have focused on what was important instead of fixing X-Wing. You can say, is this from Glenn from SoCal, California, et cetera, et cetera. And then...
do you know Glenn very well?
Do I know Glenn very well? Yeah, Glenn and I go pretty far back. He's also works for a local game store and was like they hosted a ton of X-Wing stuff, and he's just been like on the pulse the whole time. But yeah, that was kind of his summation of what's happened since 2018. And again, I'm very out of my depth on that topic.
Let me see. I remember I asked Andrew. He said he could quote anything I said on the podcast or just send people to it to hear my thoughts. I would suggest the Earthborne Rangers podcast, about 28 minutes in, the most recent one. Do you remember what it's called, John?
Can we post a link to it?
Yeah, sure can.
Oh, check this out. From Guppy. Atomic Mass lost further community confidence when they released a ship with the incorrect base arcs and said, just print a PDF out and paste over the existing ones. It did not go down so well. Much.
That is exactly what it feels like when somebody doesn't care about the thing that you care about.
That's what I was going to say. It goes exactly to that care thing we're talking about.
It's so apparent. It's so apparent. You cannot pull the wool over people's eyes about whether or not you care about something. It is perceivable to everybody.
You can feel it immediately.
Instantly. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so...
Let me get the following from Andrew. He said, happy for you to reiterate that we were incredibly appreciative at FFG of all the support and love we received for X-Wing. It meant a lot to us. The game meant a lot to us, but the minis department featuring Alex Davey, Max Brook, Luke Eddy, John Schaefer, and more, and the sculpting department, Bexley, Jason Bedouin, Corey DeVore, and more, would not have existed without it. X-Wing was a tremendous accomplishment for us at the time to make it in as high quality way as we did, and it ushered in a whole new era of success at FFG. And Frank Brooks also, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say Frank was not on that list, and Frank's a notable person.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's like I said, I didn't expect to feel any kind of way because I've been so disconnected from it, and I've been very disconnected from Star Wars
as well
since episode 9 came out. But it is still, and I say this about X-Men all the time, one of the best games I've ever played. It's not even close.
It's super special.
I meant to mention this to the content geniuses here, that someone the other day, and I don't think we'd ever do this, but was like, I would just love to hear your top 10 games of all time. Do you actually have?
Hey, we could put that in the title or something and get a bajillion views.
And he's like I feel like he would get so many views on that. I was like, yeah, man, I'll tell him.
We've only played like 20 though.
Like really, we threw back to a lot of games.
Yeah, that's true. But like, we're not like playing all the different board games and stuff.
No,
like,
I think it would just be expandable games.
We go deep rather than wide.
Like top 5, top 10. But X-Wing, I have not had to go through and make my list, but it has to be top 5.
I'll tell you what, it's better than that Star Wars LCG. That is 100% provable.
I think it's better than Star Wars LCG.
Thank you.
Great. But I love Star Wars LCG.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I love all sorts of things that are not actually very good.
Actually, this is a weird tangent, but do you know Zach Price?
Yeah.
So he'd never seen anything Star Wars. So he watched all of Star Wars.
Did he go 1 to 9 or?
No, he went full chronological order, not just on the movies, but everything.
Like
cartoons
by release, or by
so
timeline.
Literally, the end of Clone Wars is kind of like intersected with Star Wars Episode 3, the movie. And so he would watch like 32 minutes of the movie.
No, he didn't. And
then watch this episode. No, it was full chronological order. Anyways, so then after...
This is a maniac does it that way. That's not even conceivable.
It's crazy, but I was like, man, it would be really cool if Disney Plus had hit a button, chronologically watch all of Star Wars. And it cuts from a scene in the movie to like a scene from the cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, that would get me to rewatch Star Wars if you're out there, Disney. But the fascinating thing was...
That would take a certain amount of care.
Yeah, it sure would.
You know how much more money that's going to make them?
Pump and dump, yeah.
So guess what they're doing?
Yeah.
None of it. So, but the fascinating thing was we're talking about top 10s. He ranked all the Star Wars stuff, and his rankings were like hilarious because one of the most disappointing things to him is he went from like the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which has Vader doing crazy stuff in it, and then you watch Rogue One. At the end of that, he's crazy. And then it's like, here's episode 4, where it's like him and Obi-Wan are like with their lightsabers. So his view on the original trilogy is way worse.
Fascinating.
Because he had so much he'd already seen by that point.
I can understand that.
I say all this to zoom all the way back out. X-Wing is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
One of the best games. All the people that we met along the way involved in it, at the studios, the developers and the artists and everything. awesome people, all the
theorists, man.
content creators, all the people that wrote blogs on our website. Covenant would not be what Covenant is today if it had not been for X-Wing.
What was the one guy's name that was always... He was at our events. Such a cool dude. We saw him at Worlds as well. Such an absolutely nice guy. I mean, this is a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm trying to like hone in.
Had a screen name that was notable.
Oh god.
Hold on, I do want to sit with this for a second.
Yeah, Paul bringing up a good point here. Have we been asked yet to smash that like button?
I just assumed that
just
it's
smash
already
it.
being smashed.
Ring the bell. Subscribe.
We do need to talk about the continuing committee.
Yeah.
Something Hawk or like
Kennedy Hawk?
There was Kennedy Hawk, but it wasn't Kennedy Hawk.
Before you get off of here, I just want to show that Steven lit a fire.
Did I? On the Star Wars LCG? There's like 5 people that absolutely love that game.
Tom Malucci. That's toxic.
He's one of them.
He is.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
This guy. Y'all.
As I said several weeks ago,
There's 10 of them.
we ride at midnight. We ride at midnight.
7 million X-Wing players and the 10 Star Wars LCG players in the chat are losing their minds, dude.
Hey, you called him out.
That's the weirdest game on the planet, dude. It's the weirdest freaking game I've ever played. I bounced off of it instantly.
So
I hated everything about it.
the
Literally everything. I think everything I hated.
one of my favorite videos we ever posted was you and Robert doing a Star Wars LCG unboxing. You should watch that if you can go find it. I get it. I get why people didn't. The people that really didn't like that game, I get why they didn't.
Yeah.
But it was my kind of chaos.
He was a bigger guy, like tall, just like big guy, super nice.
Oh wait, I know you're talking Griffin, right?
Sable Griffin.
Sable Griffin.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love that dude. I love that dude.
Okay,
I
now
talked
we're
to him
back.
so much, and
Completely
he was a
agree.
big X-Wing guy, and man, it was. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I've been trying not to name names because I can't name them all.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave anyone out. Like even Sable, there's a lot of people that were staples of that community to me and
Zach,
experience. And I just can't. But yes, Sable was great.
Sable was great.
That's right, Tom. Tom.
This is the classic refrain from anybody who's.
It's like all those people out there hating on Last
you just
Jedi.
don't get it.
It's like people just don't get it.
Yeah, like Tortured Poets is a freaking masterpiece.
That's false. That's false.
What's the continuing committee about? Because I know Paul Heber's involved, and that's all that I really need.
Yeah,
to
so
know.
I saw this post, and
Fly Casual, baby. I hope they call themselves Fly Casual.
Yeah, hopefully they're out there listening to your big brain.
They set such a great standard, Paul, and the early X-Wing players. They set such an incredible culture with this game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so this came through.
Dom's there?
It hasn't taken a name yet, and there's nowhere to really go with it. But I saw it, and there's important. So Dion's on here. I saw Will Highwood. You remember him?
Will Loop and Chewy.
I saw.
That was a dark moment.
Yeah, that. I don't know. That was comical to a degree. They wouldn't let him scoot. It was finals.
It was a dark comedy,
and they were both just going to run from each other the rest of the time and go to the end game roll dice. And they asked the TO like, "Can we just go ahead and get to that point?" And he's like, "No, you got to play it out." So they put Loop and Chewy on the table, and then they were playing Loop and Chewy on it. We have this video posted. It's like part of the finals, and played it out.
Yeah.
And then
some would say that was when we knew something was devastatingly wrong.
But this speaks to the power of tabletop games for me because I saw this post from Filippo Bozzi there, which he's from Italy, and he was really heavily involved in the distribution/retail side in there. But when I went to Italy for my honeymoon in 2018, nonetheless.
Wow.
He and his, I believe at the time, maybe it's changed now, girlfriend, they're still together. I see you guys posting pictures on Instagram. It's adorable. When my wife and I were in Florence, they spent one of the days with us and took us around, and that's where they were from.
Because of X-Wing.
Met through X-Wing.
Yeah.
And we still follow each other, and like I keep up with what's going on. And when I come back to Florence, inevitably we will certainly go. They took us to this tapas place. That's where I had raw beef for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And it was just
tartar.
Yeah, and there was this blueberry old fashioned that had. I mean, it was just it was a whole time.
I didn't know the Europeans understood whiskey. Seriously.
Yeah.
When I was in Europe, I could not find like bourbon until the one time I did, and it was at a college campus in Utrecht.
What year was this?
Where I found a lot of it. 2009.
Yeah, it's 2024 now, Jack.
Yeah, booze is everywhere. I haven't heard, man.
Anyways, so there were some notable people on this list for me that I know. You noted Paul Heaver as well, but they're working on something. And X-Wing is too good of a game to go quietly into the night.
Mm-hmm.
But
what Armada? I'm sorry, we're sorry. We never did Armada, really. We never really.
Yeah, it was not in the same way. But looking at this list of people, I'm very excited.
How can this many people coordinate and cooperate?
Look at Null Signal, man, with Netrunner.
That's true.
Speaking of games from 2012 that were important to us that still go on to this day, but the upside they have is that games can stop expanding.
Yeah,
and they can just do whatever they want. They can hone in on it.
They can just reprint a bunch of cards, and that's pretty much all they need to do.
Yeah,
and then they could do that. They could make changes every year or two and keep playing.
Ever since encountering like the Warlord, Saga of the Storm Crew, they didn't have new cards. Like it's not like Null Signal.
Ever.
They weren't putting. It was just like this is the game. Let's get weird with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
They did. They
forever.
Yeah.
They had 20 years.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
no new cards.
When I saw this list, I was very happy that I still own all my X-Wing,
and
I'm excited to see whatever they do.
Yeah, I hope they break it into the trilogies. Yeah, it's a free idea. Well, I'm gonna go take a little bathroom break and then
news.
Hit the news.
Hit the news.
Thank you for the beer. This was delightful.
Yeah, of course. Thanks
Truly
for
delightful.
being here. More. If you have any comments, I'm happy to take comments while Steven is gone. Guppy, Armada is actually still in an okay place since it was left alone since Atomic Mass took the reins. It's pretty balanced. Points are still printed on cards, and the community is slowly growing. Yeah, I think at a certain point, a publisher would probably do better to stop expanding routinely and just make really easy entry points for people. This continual expansion. It reminds me so much of a TV show that just feels like it has to keep going on. Looking at you, Grey's Anatomy. Should have ended in the courtroom. Just saying, Boyd, I've only ever played at home with family and friends, but the conundrum is which set of rules, point systems to use, especially now support is ending and we can essentially choose how to play. That's up to you. If you're having fun, use whatever you've been using, in my opinion. And then if someone like a continuing committee solves it or does something, you can check that out. But I would lean towards using whatever system you have printed in front of you. Keep hitting me with it. Paul, question, is there a way to minimize the sweaty gameplay of folks getting very detailed measurement arc tools to prove a hit or miss? This happened with Mercs, is why I won't go anywhere near Shatterpoint. I never really had that problem in X-Wing.
I just think that's minis games. That's
a part of it.
You can't play it hard. I mean, I remember when the laser level came out in X-Wing to see if people clipped or not.
Yeah, which I like the laser because it just streamlined it. It's like you have the ship, we look at the laser. In or out.
Done. Yeah.
We don't need to like, and you can like still a little, but X-Wing to me is so defined by that fly casual mentality. Mm-hmm. Even at a very competitive level, like when we play, people have lasers and stuff, and it's like, oh, laser. We look at it and it's like, okay, it's in.
Yeah.
We're not, and like, I never, not once in the whole time did I have any like weird measurement snares in X-Wing. So I don't know how to get around that, but I think that's just a game culture situation. If you're playing with too many people that are like that, I would just suggest attempting. You may not be in the right crowd, and it's okay if people want to be sweaty about it. That's their thing to do.
I kept this one because of the memories here. Oh, get out of here.
Ian Schaefer playing X-Wing on Vassal. Just couldn't get enough.
Vassal.
Pour one out for Vassal.
Yeah.
She gone.
Is she gone?
I don't know.
Yeah, Vassal's never dead, dude.
Technology never dies, does it?
Yeah, no, Vassal is like, that's the simplest program on earth.
Ben wants to know how's the Victory beer taste.
Hey, that was great.
It is a very good beer.
I love that, yeah.
Which one was it? You said it was your favorite.
That's a West Mall
double.
It's the second beer.
I was happy they had it.
Yeah.
At Park Hill.
Yeah, they do. They've got a decent selection there for that.
John Wesley, I got an X-Wing because I need more items for free shipping from Miniature Market. Then love the game. Never played a miniatures game before.
The reality of Miniature Market stocking those ships at like $5 also was a fundamental shift for us as a business.
It's like, this is
with this.
Yeah, that was a big moment. I had a really good friend who was playing X-Wing, and one of the Wave 2 or 3 was coming out. He's like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I'm buying these here, but I could have saved $150 ordering these online. Yeah. And that was like,
well, that's
a concern for me immediately. It's like, wait a second, I can't ask you to do that. Like, this is a problem.
Yeah. Shall we run the news?
Let's do it.
All right, Zach, kick us off.
First, we have some news. Covenant. This is not really on the agenda, but we have a new employee today, Victor, being added to the ops team.
Victor.
A few more coming in, including a video person to help us batten down those hatches and produce some more content. But the thing we want to talk about is universal order quantity updates. Very exciting.
Yeah.
It just feels like a new policy.
Absolutely. Laugh riot.
Yeah. Effectively, on a lot of our subscriptions, especially for collectible games, and some of our in-stock products, we're implementing order quantities that you must order to order those quantities. As an example, with Sorcery, which is a subscription that's currently sold out, you can sign up for anywhere from 1 to 6 subscriptions.
1 to 6 boxes.
Yeah. And then after that, it's in increments of 6. And this lets us pack and ship those in the case, which is important for a lot of reasons. One of the biggest ones is some people, let's say you sign up for 7. It's like, well, now we're shipping a case and a booster box. And the booster box material most of the time is sort of like this Ashes box. It's just like a lot thinner.
It's not meant to,
and the pack's directly in it. So that makes packing hazardous because there's also not like a clean box that we can put that in for structural reasons. So then you have this loose box with padding and stuff. So after just enough time dealing with that, and you know, we looked at it and it was something like 1%.
Just 3% of Sorcery players are affected.
Yeah.
Subscribers.
Yeah.
That were at a weird quantity.
Yep. So that's happening. If you have any questions, you can ask those now in the chat. You should be, if you're affected, you'll get an email about it. But moving forward, those will be implemented ahead of when we let people sign up for things.
Yeah.
So that won't be a problem. But that was a big, that's a big, massive quality of life improvement.
Yeah. Sealed cases went over really well. That's the majority of people are buying. They prefer that form factor, and then it's also easier and better on our side, accuracy, durability, that kind of thing. So kind of bridging the gap across all of that.
Yeah.
To make it better for everybody.
And it also improves the speed of fulfillment, which is important when you have something like Sorcery that's sold out, where we really want to get those out the door as soon as possible, as soon as we can. And so that makes it more efficient, which means that we can actually more reliably make that happen.
Yeah.
And get things out the door when they're supposed to go out the door. And another one that is not, we push the code, but it hasn't been used yet. It'll be used soon. We overhaul the pre-order system. So I'm excited to talk about that on a future stream.
Nobody knows it yet, though.
Yeah. What did you say?
Everybody knows it now.
Well, they don't know the
details.
details.
The changes. They know there's a pre-orders tab in the account, so they've been paying attention.
Yeah, someone may well have noticed. There's just a lot of things we're cleaning up. Last year we had a really complicated Sorcery pre-order situation with 2 different ways to pre-order beta at 2 different times with 2 different promos and starter sets, and then we'll talk about that on a future stream. But I'm pumped. That's
More quality of life stuff.
So much, and a lot of that is for the players themselves. Yeah, just so much better. So we'll get into that later. All right, next up.
But before you go, Ian asked just such a good question, and I think you can answer it quickly. So I'm going to pop it up.
Ian, what's up, Ian? That's a nice avatar too. It looks very tidy.
It's like professional, but not too professional.
Mm-hmm. As people that run a store, do you think there's a possibility to cease new expansions and make money from established players through more significantly supported organized play?
I can't answer this quickly. This is the whole thesis of my life right now.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, of course. I think that if I could project into the next 5 to 10 years,
I think it's 10.
One of my greatest, probably 10, 20.
Things are so slow.
One of my greatest aspirations for the industry at large would be making a pivot from local spaces needing to sell products to make money and actually finding a way to do that exactly in this way, because I think tying those 2 things together leads to such unhealthy behavior. Publishers releasing products they shouldn't, retailers selling products just because that's what's selling, instead of actually focused on what I think is really important, which is introducing people to the community, having a healthy community, creating these connections, and all these the real stuff is not at the center of it, but maybe it's part of it.
And it just means that stores are incentivized to sell the things to you that the publisher is going to print to make everybody a profit, right? So if X-Wing were to stop printing ships, the store would stop hosting X-Wing events.
Right.
That is the case means there's some kind of fundamental problem.
Which means they have to keep releasing products.
Or it means that we need to reinvent this kind of ecosystem where if you continue hosting X-Wing events, there's enough new players coming through that you sell the Empire Starter Pack to.
That's right.
That you don't need it to be new, that all of the existing players continue to engage with the game because your space is great and because the game is sustainable rather than printed to oblivion until it sucks.
There it is.
That's the ideal.
To more directly answer the question, though, I think that's a very challenging thing to do in the current ecosystem under the current status quo. Like,
yes,
that is effectively what we didn't know it. We wouldn't have put it this way with 1.0 and 2.0. It was always play first, sell much later.
At some point.
If at all. And it was out of that attempting to crack that code, right? Which is the thing that really matters about X-Wing to me is not that my friend who was like, hey, I'm paying $200 extra to buy it here, whatever it is, buys X-Wing from us. It's like what I want is him to play X-Wing and be a part of our X-Wing community. Like, and to this to be a positive, joyful part of his life and part of other people's lives he's in because of these things and all these friendships and connections that get made. Yeah, it's great if you buy the X-Wing ships from us, and we need, it wasn't so great for all the people working that weren't getting paid very well, but we were trying to approach it in a different way, and like 1.0 and then 2.0, and it got better, but it's very hard to operate in that way.
Yeah, it's a shift. It's a paradigm shift for sure.
All right, carry on with the news.
I do want to answer Clockwork Gadget. Does the quantity changes for Sorcery mean that you expect more subs to be available before release? So this is for Sorcery in particular. More Sorcery subscription slots will almost certainly be available at some point pretty close to when we're going to charge that subscription. And the best way to know that that's happening is to go into the Discord, set your notifications to be on the Sorcery updates list. Because between now and Arthurian Legends, there's going to be a number of people that drop off of that Sorcery subscription. If you had your quantity adjusted here, if you were between, let's say the quantities are 6 and 12, you're at an 8-box subscription for Sorcery. You will either automatically go down to 6 after the month of June. You can apply until the month of June. After that, you get bumped down to 6, or if you want to, you can go up to 12. You can't go up to 18, you can't go up to 24. But you can go up to the nearest, or you will automatically get bumped down to the nearest. Once that's complete, then we expect there will be people that shed off of subs, as they sometimes do. And then right before Arthurian Legends, probably a week or two in my mind, that's what I'm envisioning. We haven't really set that in
This is not in stone.
But we would probably send out a notification to say, hey, the Sorcery subscription is opened up with the remaining slots based on everyone who's dropped since then. You can increase, you can change, new players can get it on a sub. And then once it's out of stock, then it's closed down, we charge it, and we start shipping.
And to be specific, if you're an effective subscriber, we are allowing people to adjust up to the nearest appropriate quantity. So if you're at 9 boxes, you have the option to go up to 12, or if you do nothing, we'll take you back down to 6. And the other part is, I'm expecting us to have stock available closer to release or at release or a couple weeks before release. That is not part of the subscription. So if you didn't get it on the a lot of people are like, I didn't even know the subscription was up because it was in a separate tab on the Sorcery page. We are expecting to have inventory, but it won't come with the promo. That's just going to be standard inventory after the fact. But you have not completely. It's not like I know with beta running out, people are like a little nervous not to get any. I don't expect that we'll have that problem for a minute. Like if you were paying attention and you're there on release, you should be able to get it from us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay. alphaclash. Cyanide will later subs for Sorcery be eligible for promo. So subs, if you get charged for a sub, you always get the promo.
Yeah. If you don't get on the sub, then you don't get the promo.
Yeah.
That's how it works now, at least.
If you sign up after we've charged for set 2, Arthurian Legends, then you wouldn't get Arthurian Legends or the promo, but you would start getting it with set 3.
Set 3. And man, I can't wait to know what that is. They're crushing the Arthurian Legends. Yeah, let's get to the...
We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, alphaclash. Bring it up. This coming weekend, they are having their second Clashground event, or I guess second weekend. They had it in Vegas and Manila at the same time last time.
I was just pointing at that. I was trying to touch it. If Jonathan can make it like jump every time, that's the kind of engagement people are looking for.
This weekend, it's happening at Origins in Columbus.
You're testing for that bad boy. Are you going to Columbus?
No, I'm not. I think there's somewhere else is happening in the next couple of weeks. I wish I was going to Columbus, but as you're well aware, my wife is like a little over 8 months pregnant, and it felt like a trip at this moment in my life was risky.
So you're already letting it change your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, having a child is certainly changing my life, and will continue to do so. But yes, crazily enough, I tested alphaclash this weekend, and that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is Matt Coles came down. He was originally going to Minneapolis to the FAB National Championship, which we'll cover in a minute when we get to FAB, and then realized that he would rather come down to Oklahoma and hang out and play alphaclash, which is what we did on Saturday.
Wow, and he didn't even call me. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, he specifically said, "Send Steven my regards," and then I can't say the rest of his sentence on stream. Just kidding.
Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything.
So he got in late on Friday. We tested alphaclash on Saturday. He left early on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was and he was technically staying with Ian in Oklahoma City, so even funnier because they had to like drive here and drive back.
Is this the first time really like playing a lot of alphaclash since the new rules changes?
Yes.
Class buster out. How'd that feel?
We've been testing a little bit after the changes hit, but this was sort of because Ian and Matt Coles and Hamilton and Roger are all going next weekend, who is part of the group that we test with. And so this was like let's test in person and do this and make this all happen. And me, Ian, and Tim were already getting together to test alphaclash. And Matt heard about it, and he was like, that sounds interesting.
What did you guys have for lunch?
Well, we had brunch before we started at I think just savage. What, you built a house? I don't know.
I was actually I think I was on the roof on Saturday, but I maybe would have come down for some
So
eggs.
the reality of the situation is it was originally me, Tim, and Ian alphaclashing, and then it was last Monday is when Matt was like, I think I'm gonna change my flight or something.
Nice.
Which is crazy. Anyways, didn't give Steven notice. I'll let you guys work that out. He did give you a coaster though. So,
Where'd you eat brunch?
It's called Oren.
It's called Oren. It's like one of the fanciest brunch places in town.
Have you been there?
Yes, I've been there.
I don't know if you've been there.
It's delightful.
Dude,
It was actually quite pretentious for me last time I went to brunch, but their dinner was worth it. The brunch was like, I'm paying too much for an English muffin kind of brunch, but I don't know if they've changed. That was like years ago.
I think your problem is you ordered an English muffin.
I didn't order an English muffin. It was some kind of eggs Benedict, you know, and it came in spinach and stuff.
We went, me, Serena, Tim, and Hannah went around my birthday last month, and I didn't know what we were getting into. I just know that normally when those four people are getting brunch, because of part of the group, we end up at somewhere like IHOP.
That's not brunch, my friend.
Yeah, so it was more open to the idea of going somewhere a little more aligned with what I would want.
Cool. Yeah, the high class crew in town.
Yeah, just not commercial chain.
Why would you just support the locals?
It doesn't need to be uppity. It just like.
But you don't need the money getting sucked up to some multinational. Yeah. Also, what did you have?
Well, so that's what I was gonna say. So we went. I didn't really know much about it. I'm not a research kind of guy.
It's just new American.
Yeah. But I asked the waitress. I was like, "What is the best thing on your menu?" And she was like, "It's got to probably French toast." Like, but I didn't want to have just like French toast. So we split a French toast at the table.
Is it a sweet French toast?
Yes, but it's not. It's like a thicker bread, and it's covered in this like sauce with almonds in it and stuff. It's maybe the best French toast I've ever had. Well, that's why I was going back this weekend, and it's a thing that you can like split with the table. Like I don't want just that, or like I don't want an order of that. I want like 3 or 4 bites of that. Yeah,
because it's kind of like getting bread pudding for breakfast.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like it's acceptable to start with dessert at this meal. We have it as an appetizer. It's like, all right, great, I'm in. Anyways, so we went there, but then the actual, probably most notable, I'll have to get the name of it, but there's this taco truck a couple miles from Tim's house, which is where we were, and that's what we have for dinner.
But wait, what did you get at Oren for your main? Was it oat based?
I got avocado toast.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was like $80.
No, I think it was like $11 or something.
No, nothing at Oren's $11. I can guarantee you that.
Okay,
let's look it up right now.
Would you like to bet?
Yeah, dude. I'll place a bet.
How much is the avocado toast?
It's not $11. It's more than $11 for avocado toast at Oren's brunch menu.
What's the bottom price for
$11. It has to. If it's over $11,
I'm not willing to bet on 11. I'm not willing to bet on 11.
Okay, so you're wrong about 11.
I think it was 11 or 12. So
You almost got me to go 12.
If you were like, it's more than 15, I would have bet on that.
No, it's more than 11. It's more than 11.
I'm not going to bet. I'm just going to look it up.
Without it being $11. You may be an $11 chocolate milk at Orin.
See, here's the French toast, by the way.
Yeah, it looks great. In fact, I think I've had that.
It's 15 for the avocado toast.
You would have got it.
I would have got it.
You knew. Luckily, I didn't bet.
You didn't. Yeah.
I did not bet. Anyways, we tested alphaclash first time with the new rules, and first like extended time with the new rules. It was freaking great. We had 4 or 5 different decks. They all seem legitimate. Like there's no. I mean, we could be totally wrong on this. It's not. But meta seems wide open. I will say, not having the 0 cost clash buffs. It opens up the playable decks, but it does make the gameplay a little less dynamic.
So it's basically like guaranteed goods. Every time you go to do something, it's going to basically work. Aside from traps.
If they've spent all their resources, you know they can't change the math on the table.
Yeah.
So when it's your turn, you're doing things. The math is what the math is. Previously, there was 0 cost, +2/+2 thing. And them existing, even if your opponent didn't have them, meant that there are lines that if they do have them are going to be very bad for you.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, so it's kind of.
But does that actually change the play pattern? Because you can't play into they have it, right? Like you wouldn't change the way you do something based on them maybe having a 0 cost buff, or would you?
Well, I think there are moments where if I do take this action and you don't have the buff, I gain 5% chance to win. If I take this action and you do have the buff, I lose 40%. Because you're going to keep a character and mine's going to go away.
So you don't take that action ever. Yeah, okay.
So it makes you pause and think. And I don't have a conclusion on ultimately whether that's good or bad. What I do know is that the number of heroes or / contenders, ironically they're not called heroes in this game. The number of contenders that I think are viable right now is significantly wider. That is a net positive. And the varied, like the gameplay is a lot different based on the contenders. So I like seeing that.
You know what I have to say? I have a thought about this. I've learned over the course of these 20 plus years that the dynamism of the gameplay is not nearly as important as being able to play the thing you want to play and have a shot at winning.
Yeah.
Like, sure, maybe all my Pestilence games against, Magnate look the same. Don't care. I'm playing Pestilence. I love it. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I think that's... So the deck I was playing primarily this past weekend was Death, the character. Unplayable before.
Yeah.
Just...
yeah, so now
strictly.
Were you guys holding one resource often to threaten the clash buff?
I was, but I was also experimenting with that explicitly. Okay. And it's the kind of thing where
somebody gets scared.
If you're on 4 resources, playing a 3 cost and saving 1, or playing a 4 cost, have different values. So it sort of depends on, is the 3 cost with the threat of the pump worth more to me right now, or this? And the black 1 cost clash buff is +1/+1. Put a 1 cost from your Oblivion into play.
Beautiful.
And so in Death, though, there's a 1 cost death that if the portal's closed, when it gets defeated, it goes to your hand. So there's plays where you keep something out, you get an extra thing out. Going into your next turn, you have an extra blocker that also, when it goes away, is going to. It's just like a lot of.
But those conditions have to be true for your opponent to care about you maybe having a 1 cost. If there's not a 1 thing in your graveyard, then like
the main thing is a lot of times because it's 1 resource a turn. You play your 4th resource. You play a 4 cost. My turn, I play my 4th resource. So there'll be turns where like my 3 cost doesn't have the strength to defeat your 4 cost. So, or it does, except for, let's say I play a 4 cost and they're the same card and I attack you. If you buff yours and I don't on offense, mine goes away and yours stays on the board, and you already got value out of it because it doesn't have summoning sickness. That is so much value to make up for in that game.
Sure.
It's pretty crazy. But a lot of times what would happen is, well, I can either just do 4 to you directly, or I can take the chance that you don't have the class buff. And if I can take you off the board, yeah.
So you're saying that the 1 cost buffs, you're kind of bluffing. Sometimes, but not always.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
A little interesting.
All that to say, it was very fun. I'm excited. Columbus is weekend if you're anywhere near Ohio and at all interested in alphaclash, check it out. If you're going to Origins and you haven't played alphaclash, their booth is always awesome. They have incredible people demoing the game. It's worth checking out. Some of the most dedicated, hardworking, genuine people you'll ever meet is the Rising Empire team. And they're just the game is in stride right now in terms of the experience it's offering. That's the other part.
Set 3, they hit it.
The heroes that are viable are wider, and particularly a couple of the colors, like blue, that was under, is not under anymore. Maybe over.
Yeah, mean streak. Let's go.
It's very good. Whee! All right, next up, Arkham Horror. The Innsmouth Conspiracy Cycle repackage has been announced. That's what I'm talking about. Arkham reprinting and repackaging, making it easier to get into these things.
But no return twos.
Yeah.
They're done with that.
They did announce that scenario pack last week, though, which I was surprised to see.
Yeah, that was good. That's good.
But yeah, Arkham, another one of the greatest games of all. I would have a tough time picking a top 10.
Just honestly, at this point, honestly, I know this is like, you're going to have to end that soon. Don't you think?
Arkham?
Yeah. The player card pool is big.
That one's easier, though, because...
No meta?
There is no meta. There is no competition. You can start with any cycle. Like, you buy a core set play, then you can buy any cycle you want.
You think co-ops go forever?
I think they can. But it's also, you could do New Arkham once every 4 years if you wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know that it changes the sales.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Or never. Yeah, you do you. As they say. All right, next up. Ashes.
Ashes, hey.
Andrew over on our Discord channel starting the Smogborough Smash on July 3rd, which there's channels in our Discord, voice channels. So there's like the top table and then there's numbered tables and whatever. But go to table chat channel in the Discord on Wednesday from 7 p.m. to midnight or Saturday from 5:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Is that Central or is that Eastern or what?
Central.
Yeah, Central.
To receive a pairing and play a webcam game immediately.
So just show up, you get a pairing, you get webcam game.
Yep.
Boom.
If you want to play.
Easy peasy.
Assuming Andrew's there weekly during these times, kudos to you for the commitment and effort.
Absolutely.
That is.
Well, we know what it's like.
That is a lot. A lot to do.
Also notable, the Red Rains starter bundle that we had for ever since Red Rains launched on our website is officially sold out. Inventory and stuff from Plaid Hat is at a point where we're not going to restock that, and it's huge because that means a ton of new people got into Ashes through that bundle, which is wonderful. And so now the best way to get into that game is the Master Set plus Red Rains bundle that Ashes or that Plaid Hat has on their website. So if you are in the Ashes community, point new players to that on the Plaid Hat website. That also, effectively makes them more cash too. So it's good for the game in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and it's basically a discounted the starter set plus the co-op solo.
Great place to start.
Thing.
They've still got the 30% off all Ashes products when you spend $250
Such a
or
good
more.
deal.
Ash catch up.
Ash catch up. That's funny.
I
see what they did there. Yeah,
all right. Next but not least, Earthborne Rangers.
Next but not least, there we go. Earthborne Rangers. Hey, we got big things coming up for Earthborne. We're launching it on our website this week.
We gotta put that pre-order system to the test.
On Wednesday, Earthborne pre-order. So if you missed they're closing their backer kit on Tuesday, I believe, and then we'll be up on Wednesday with our pre-orders. So if you don't like the crowdfunding aspect of it, if you missed it and you're watching this weeks later and you're like, oh, I wanted Earthborne, we do have it on our website. We'll be bundling things up a little bit differently than they were on the Game Found, but you'll be able to get everything that you need. And we'll run those up until basically fulfillment time for that Earthborne second wave. So this is the second printing of the core set, Legacy of the Ancestors expansion. All of the awesome stuff that appeared on the Earthborne Kickstarter, including the miniatures, tokens, the little guys. Did you see the alt art rolls with the little
chibis?
Oh, they're so good.
Oh, you pulled the miniatures. Look at them go.
I was ready for the miniatures.
They're so good.
You can leave the miniatures out. Those look great.
But we got minis and all of that. So this will be the avenue to get Earthborne in the States after backer kit closes on Tuesday. So we hope that we can serve your needs there. If you want to get on Earthborne, and you can wait, and well, I don't know. Like, do you think there's going to be supply things?
I don't think there's like FOMO of the level of you'll never be able to get this ever again. But when you're physically printing supply, there's always a finite amount.
And they made like $4 bajillion on this thing.
Yeah, I think they cost $3 million something. crazy.
It's on the list. I wrote it.
3 million something?
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Can you imagine what I would move to Costa Rica
is.
if I had that kind of money?
Yeah, I mean, who could think? Today, the campaign has raised over $3.3 million from over 15,000 backers.
It like the thing is, but it didn't, and it just kept going. Like it wasn't just like there was a good review. Shut up, sit down, did a good review. Of course, we had we were the majority driver of all of this.
I think it was mostly us. Those streams you guys did, it was all that. Yeah,
was basically what did it.
It was people saw it and thought, I want to be those people on the camera.
They're the best looking people.
People started shaving their heads, growing out beards.
Yeah.
Crazy, the whole trend. It was
trending,
trending
bald and
trending on the artist formerly known as Twitter.
That's right. And maybe currently known if you're, but it was a straight line. Like every day they were getting the same amount of money over and over and over. I was like, whoa, they reached the thing. They discovered the wheel and they rolled it down the mountain. That's it. That's
the snowball's still building.
Anyway, so now we're going to have the wheel, and so you can get those products from our website moving forward.
Apparently, they've recently finished development of the Moments of the Past expansion. We're going to show some examples here. That's not... What is this?
Distant Howls. This is a moment of the... So the moments are like
it's
basically...
not on my list.
So in Arkham... You know how in Arkham you can either draw a thing that goes onto the board, or you can draw a thing that you resolve instantly? You familiar with that?
Yeah.
These are now introducing the things that resolve instantly. And what they decided to do is split it into
from the path deck
valley moments and underground Legacy of the Ancestors
cave moments.
So we're going to get new moments for every new expansion.
This is super important for you because one of the main reasons they wanted to do the moments.
You're not on the screen. Does that matter?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'd be covered by the card anyway.
You're just a voice.
Is for the 4-player games, which you're in, and so this has a lot more like when there's 4 people playing. Now you have more of a challenge.
Yeah,
there's
great. Because you get all of the stuff you need so soon.
And it the amount of moments in the path deck that you put in scales with the amount of rangers you have in your team.
And even this is spirit plus logic reflect 2 per ranger. So it would be 8. That's a big old test.
The melodious baying of a wolfhound drifts across the landscape as a reminder that predators are constantly on the prowl. You must be mindful of your actions lest they invite the attention of a hungry being seeking its next meal. Perform a group test. Spirit plus reason. Reflect 2 R's for your group. 8 on all you've done today. To have each ranger return a card from their discard to their hand for every 8 effort. Then each ranger with food or tech in their ranger discard searches the path set for the next predator and puts it into play.
It's a group test. I love it.
Yeah, so everybody contributes, I assume, and you're trying to get 8 or higher. And then if you get 8, you return a card from your discard to your hand for every. So everyone does this.
Yeah, so you want to contribute probably 16 is the magic number.
And then if you have food or tech in your discard, so if you pass the test and everyone gets 1 and they only had 1 in, or they have 0 or 1, then you're safe. But if you've gone through a lot of food or tech, then you actually also search for the next predator and put it into play.
They're on the
because
trail.
The wolves are on the prowl.
Oh man, you got to hang the food up from the tree, right?
That's the whole bear thing. Awakened by your approach, the area around you stirs with the thrumming of an ancient machinery. Whatever purpose it may have once served, is lost on you. But perhaps with time you can discern a new use for it. Is this one for the underground? Mm-hmm. It says underground moments down there at the very bottom. Rangers choose A, attempt to understand the perplexing machinery, perform group test, or B, pass it by, search the general chat for awakened apparatus and put it into play. So otherwise you can discern with focus test on a group. Underground set, search the underground set for the flow steel controls, put it into play. If you fail to remove 3 total unique tokens from machines and or tech cards. I mean, this is everything.
I love this. Especially in the 4-player group, like these moments will be big moments. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, there's suddenly a lot of times it's like, oh, you got a Lutrinol and it's over in front of you and whatever. But this comes out and like everyone's on notice.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it fundamentally changes the game. It's really cool.
Love it.
2 thumbs up. I see what you listed as an above ground and underground example. I was like, that I wouldn't have said that name at all. I thought the card was called above ground. Anyways, also Legacy of the Ancestors, which is one of the items.
It's the big campaign expansion.
Now comes with 2 additional sets of general tokens, each featuring different graphical treatment. Apparently, after playing, Maxine, Fisher, and Andrew decided they would like to have had more general tokens.
Isn't that awesome?
Put them in the box.
That was nice.
They just threw it in.
They played the game and like, hey, we
played it. They threw it in.
Yeah. And then the Game Pound update included images of the miniatures. John says number 3 will blow your mind.
Have you seen number 3, Steven? This is number 2. Coming up here. There you go. And then here we're doing number 3. On the right there.
Yeah.
The Zach side.
Yeah. Is that the whisper speaker or whatever?
Yeah,
Spirit seeker.
Spirit energy.
Yeah.
Around.
Yeah. And these are not final.
These are the first drafts.
They made it very clear. First drafts, don't judge. But they're going to see things that none of us will ever see.
Those look great to me.
They all look great.
I'd buy them immediately.
Yeah. Well, you'll have the chance. Tune in on Wednesday,
in fact,
buddy.
I already did buy them, I think. That's new.
Don't forget our weekly weather report.
Weekly weather report. Let's do the news. Weekly Ranger report, 17th of June through the 23rd, with strong winds blowing from the west this week. Now's the perfect time to put your Ranger training to the test. Be sure to consider your actions carefully and approach them logically. If you do, you'll find that there's little you cannot achieve. You can commit reason approach icons to any test.
I feel like if we were really, maybe it's a different brand. If you did like an actual weather, like if you went off screen to do a weather report.
I did like the green screen with it.
Yeah.
And today we've got winds from the west. Can you also pull up? I want to see what the howling winds do on the weather card. This is a living card game, by the way. This is what it feels like to be a part of a living card game. Arrival setup, search the general set for a Cerebrus Cyclone and shuffle it into the path deck. What does that mean? I've never seen that before. Refresh, if there are 3 or more on the wind on this card, remove them. The lead ranger draws 1 additional path card next round and flips this card. And then on a sun token or a sun draw, add 2 wind to this card. You may suffer up to 2 fatigue to add 1 fewer wind for each fatigue suffered. That's a deadly game you're asking us to play. Beautiful. Okay, well, that's good to know. One day, Jonathan, we'll get those and we'll play them.
We will.
I love Earthborne.
One beautiful day.
Yeah.
I love Earthborne. All right.
What's next?
Flesh and Blood, the TCG.
Ooh, that new set does look good, but have we even thought? I mean, Part the Misfit was like a second ago. Sorcery has made me an old man about this now. I'm like, but I only just learned about Part the Misfit, and now there's new things to be excited about.
Part the Misfit. So they have this pattern of set releases 2 to 4 weeks later. They have a major event, Pro Tour, National Season, Pro Tour, World, something, and they use the new set as part of the limited for the big event.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great system.
And at the big event, they have been previewing the upcoming set. They've previewed a little bit of it. They previewed actually more this time, this early, than I think they've done in a long time. They went crazy with the set. But U.S. National Championship happened this weekend in Minneapolis. Worth noting, Evan earned in the winner with, I believe it was Zen, is the hero name? The ninja?
Wait, who won?
Zen? Evan? On Zen. Not Evan, not our Evan.
But
he
our
did really
Evan
well.
got 17th.
He was close.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Kid can ball.
That's
Kid can
incredible.
ball.
Yeah, he's really good.
I mean, he's won like 18 Pro Quests on Bolton, so he's obviously got skills.
Man, 17th is brutal, though. That's like, what? It's going from like $500 to $30 or something?
I wouldn't know.
You've never been that close.
Nationals is routinely terrible for me.
17th? That's legit.
And then second place was my good friend, Andrew Rothermel. Andrew is he's one of the most criminally unrelated fab players in the world.
Not anymore.
I still think it's somehow so he's top 16 to every Pro Tour so far.
Wow.
But he can it's like people are surprised when it's like every time. So he's one of the best players in the game. It's crazy. Anyways, I was really happy and really proud of him. He was on KO, the 1-arm machine. And he lost in the finals, which I was sad about. But congratulations to both you guys. A heck of a run.
Shuichi-san, Roger Bodie, our friend Roger, current and old, had one of the sickest bluffs shown on a fab stream. What do you do? Do you know what that is?
I only heard of it.
What is it?
But he essentially did some move, and it was almost like bluffing like a pummel. Mm-hmm. And he definitely didn't have it. And I think his opponent overblocked a thing, and then that's what let him win. But if he hadn't, I'm not 100% sure. But that I heard of it. People were like freaking out. It was like, wow, this is one of the greatest things. He's playing out of his mind, kind of.
Dude, that's the kind of thing that Roger would freaking love.
Yeah,
he's like so satisfied.
Yeah,
to be. Yeah, that's great. He's like me. It's just I just want a moment where people are like, this guy's like really clever.
The main thing is he also did it on camera.
Yeah.
So now it's
way to go, Roger. That's amazing.
Last forever.
Awesome, dude.
And then they previewed the new set called Roestta, named after one of my Are
they going to re-release the weapon?
Roestta Thorn?
Like a version of it that makes sense?
I don't think so, but it is something I've been thinking and talking about for a long time with people, which is every hero in this set has arcane damage, which is good.
Yeah.
Instead of having one that has arcane damage, it's a fundamental part of the way this set's gonna. So it's wizards and rune blades, and it's bringing its elementals, going back to Arya. But so far it's only earth and lightning.
Are they gonna do the water thing? You think they're gonna introduce the water wizard there? If they do that, I will have to play a little bit.
I think they've shown. I think they've shown 4 heroes, and there's something that says there's 6.
They're pretty. I'll show them next week. We'll have it all.
They post the Marvel versions of them,
and they're doing the big thing in Osaka, so they're like going big in Japan from our old
World Championship is in Osaka. Yeah.
So I like that they actually just committed and said like we're gonna go try to take a slice.
If I was still as into Fab as I was not that long ago,
this would be the set.
This set would be problematic for me.
But you hate Wizard and playing against Wizard, so perhaps it's a red herring.
Maybe, but I don't know, man. An Earth Runeblade, like just straight up Earth Runeblade.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good thing is we can play it anytime we want.
Yeah,
you don't have to stop. Just
it's coming out in September. Competing. We're gonna have like 2-month-olds. I don't think I'm.
We'll get the 2-month-old together and we'll play some Fab, and they can
sit there and cry
or sleep or whatever they do.
Well, they will eat, sleep, cry, and repeat.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, cry, repeat. That's my life too.
Yeah, sounds like a Tuesday, does it not? But yeah, set looks great. Logo looks great. Game keeps on churning.
Sign up for that sub. Hey, don't miss it. I mean, I don't know why everybody's so wrong about this. Like, it's crazy. The promos are worth a lot. The Stir the Wildwood even has spiked ever since they announced. Yeah.
This set?
Yeah, it's like there's easily no better way to get boxes of this game. They don't exist. I mean, get a case or get 2 or get 1 or get 3 or whatever through the sub. Get your promos set. The promos have been absolute fire. Like the last 2 have been absolute fire.
Yeah.
And then get it from your local store for draft and seal and like I don't know. It's just crazy.
I'll just say if I was still actively buying and playing as I once was, this would probably be a lots of case scenario.
Increase the number. Number going up.
Turn the dial. But this one goes to 11. All right. And then the other news came in right before we started the stream. Apparently FabDB is shutting down.
FabDB is shutting down. Yeah.
If you're unfamiliar, that was actually the kind of like OG deck builder for Fab. Prior to Fabrary taking over. Quote here, the past, and this is from the creator. Kirk. Past year and a half have been rough, from losing my father in an accident to a change of priorities, but soon a sad undertone became clear. I knew that FabDB was coming to an end. Ever since my daughter was born 3 years ago, I've had less time to dedicate to FabDB, but recently I've had almost no time at all. So that is an end of an era.
That was a huge resource. Wraith Times too.
Yep.
They did that with Alex Truel. And then what was really cool about that post is that Kirk is devoting a lot of his time to I think a browser-based game called Halcyon something. And it is styled after the old Star Kingdoms game that we used to play. This old browser-based...
Print out your net worth at home before coming to school.
And like, I was immediately like, I could probably play one of those again. Like, I think I could do that. So I've got my eye on that now. So it's cool that he's got something he's passionate about that he's working on the web.
Those old Star Kingdom days were something else.
Incredible. I just love... Jonathan, the kids won't understand, man. They won't understand what it was like.
Well, luckily, they're watching this.
The early internet, man, they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't understand, man. You think you want a UX? How about 2 lines of text? I want to land grab that dude over there. He's got too much land and not enough net worth. He's mine. I've been searching all night on the different sectors of the galaxy to find somebody to attack, and there he is, and I've got my dragoons ready.
I'm being raided.
And there's 5 lines of text driving the whole thing, and it's the most thrilling thing you've ever experienced.
What are the text-based RPGs called?
What?
Text-based RPGs?
Yeah, there's a name for those.
MUDs?
Yep. MUDs, yeah. MUDs.
I remember Will from high school, just like, we lost him to that for
there was
months.
A guy in college, and he was super into MUDs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
At one point, me and David Moss went over to his house, and we walk in to the back door, and David's his cousin, so they're kind of
do that.
They're family. Yeah, walk in, and Will's mom, Karen, one of the greatest people on the planet, Karen Kelly.
Karen, if you're watching.
Yeah, she's not, but she just is. She's just like, it needs to be noted how great she is as a person. We walk in, and she's like, I will pay you guys if you can get him off that computer. So we go into the living room, and he's got a recliner pulled up to the desk, He's reclined back with his keyboard and his mouse and the screen. And he's just like, click, 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 click. And it's like, hey, Will, you want to come with us to do this thing? He's like, no, I'm good. Click, 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 click. And like we tried for a while, and we'd come back like every couple days, and like
he was still in the same position. He hadn't moved at all.
Mudding around.
Some say he's still there.
Yes.
Actually, Will's like in a good spot, right? Isn't he? He's got a good job, and he's.
Oh, yeah, he's in the Dallas area now. I see him usually around the holidays. He comes to visit.
I think Blake is got a D&D game with him and Brennan.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
They play over like Skype or whatever.
Yeah.
Love it.
Skype. Well, I don't know. Skype is long dead. I think it's Zoom or whatever.
Skype,
Google Meeting or whatever.
I'm in the Will Kelton headspace.
Wow, Grandma, no, we're not doing Skype anymore. Deliver pecans over Skype.
Pardon me, your age is showing. Yeah. Anyways, speaking of age, Sorcery, a classic, has a lot going on.
Oh, they're crushing it, dude.
So before I get to the thing I am going to just drool over, let's talk about the Courtesan Cup happened this weekend in, I believe, Baltimore. There were streams happening all week. There's so much going on this weekend. I was playing alphaclash. We had the Fab Nationals on in the background, and anytime one of our teammates were playing, we'd pause and go watch. And then on Sunday, was cruising. I was like, oh, yeah, that's going on. And it's the Courtesan Cup, full room of people playing Sorcery. Meanwhile, they're showing art and stuff.
And artists were there, and there were people were signing stuff. It was a whole fan convention.
Yeah. And that was one I wanted to go to, but again, 8+ months pregnant wife expected. So I was like,
maybe not.
Can't make that trip. But Sorcery Con's around the corner. Anyway, so they revealed some cards this weekend.
Yeah.
And can you just pop Camelot?
Wait, are we gonna reveal them? Because like some people don't want the spoilers. Like Evan's trying to stay away from spoilers.
Well, you're in the wrong spot.
Yeah, don't do it.
Cover thy eyes.
I tried it for Fab. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
You just missed so much of the engagement.
As far as I can tell, they're not gonna spoil the whole set. These are just little
tasties. But you got to see it. You got to see it what they're spoiling here. The artists are doing it primarily, which I love. That's very cool.
They're very art.
You know, it doesn't have to be freaking fancy, dude. It just has to be hand painted. So unique minions cost 1 less to cast nearby sites. That's it.
And there's no threshold on this thing.
No.
It also doesn't provide any resources.
No. I mean, it does. You get 1 colorless.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was 0.
No, Zach. You've never played Sorcery. I swear, every time I talk to you, it's like you've never played the game.
At some point,
you got to the top 8, and then you're like, how did what's the number? What do these numbers mean? Where am I? Whose floor is this? Am I in Seattle?
At some point, I ask you a question, you're like, I'm not answering that for you. Like you just can't. You can't be winning tournaments and not knowing the rules.
You get 1 man from no threshold.
The problem is that
it's like a free city.
I just don't know the rules. So
not much of a problem.
Like it intuitively to me, if there's not an icon there, it doesn't provide a resource.
Yeah.
Like it's just, in my mind, everything that provides a resource has an icon. So then they break that rule, and it's like, well, locations inherently just provide a resource.
Yeah, I would say actually the majority of locations in Sorcery do not have threshold. Believe it or not. Yeah, believe it or not. You wouldn't believe.
Hold on. Are you willing to bet on it?
Yeah, I'd bet on that.
I had to find the right bet. So you're saying more than 50% of locations in beta / alpha have 0 threshold icons on them?
More than 50%. What would you take? 40%?
I'd take 30%.
30%. Done. Yes, I believe more than 30%. I'll buy you a beer.
Okay, so if less than 30. If 70% or more of locations have a threshold icon on them, and the little colored triangles.
Yes, the threshold icon, yes.
Pull up, do we have any other locations here? Any card. Keening Banshee.
Yeah, free city or anything. I believe 30%, more than 30%.
So
look at that card. Oh my gosh.
The icons next to the
card is probably the best.
It is crazy. The icons next to the 4.
Yeah, top left there. You're not getting bamboozled. I know what you mean.
You think at least 30% of locations don't have any of those on it.
I think that's right.
Oh man, get the Grimbergens ready.
All right, hold on. Look at this. All right, I'm gonna go to cards. I'm gonna search.
Never have I. Has a beer been easier?
We're settling this live.
I feel like this is like the College Humor prank wars. Like we're starting off with just betting a single beer on like really innocuous things. Okay. In 3 years, we're gonna be betting like. Anyways,
all right. Simon's in the chat.
There are 68 sites. Okay, 68 sites. We're gonna count the number without threshold. Okay, together. I'm just gonna scroll through here. Astral Alcazar 1.
Hand me the dice. Oh wait, I'll just do it on D20.
Battlefield 2. Boneyard 3. Bottomless Pit 4. Cloud City's got 1. Cornerstone 5. Crossroads 6. Dome of Osiris 7. Donnybrook Inn 8. Edge of the World 9.
There are way more than I
Free
expected.
City 10. Great Wall 11. Imperial Road 12. Mirror Realm 13. That one's kind of weird because it mirrors a site, but technically it works for me. Mudflow 14.
I don't know. Mirror Realms. We're gonna hold on. Because like I play Mirror Realm.
Right.
Anyways, yeah.
But technically it doesn't have a threshold on it. Mudflow 13 on your actual die. Pillar's good. Planar Gate 14. Promoto Spring 15. Roots 16. Okay. Sinkhole 17.
Van saying I need 20. You need 21 to win.
Standing Stones 18.
These are the S's.
Geistwood is 19.
Geistwood is not an Earth icon. Get out of town.
Yeah. Vault is 20. Vault is 20. It's all Mirror Realm. Is that 30% on the nose?
How many did you say there were?
Let me look. Hold on, I gotta get my results. 68. So close. So that would be 32 and a half ish.
So 20 out of 68 is 29%. 0.5. So you need 21 on the dot to get there.
I've got 21.
I don't know. That's dubious.
I've got 21. It does not have a threshold icon on the site.
It doesn't have a threshold.
I will give you this.
You can copy something that doesn't have.
It does not have a threshold on the site.
They're not printed.
I will give you this. There are significantly more sites without icons on them.
Is 30.x% greater than 30%?
It is, yeah. I will give you. You win the bet. I'm 0 for 2 on the bets. Just remember.
Yes.
We will eventually be betting houses.
I'm like a Four Loko this time.
That is crazy. There are that many sites that don't. You know what's crazy about it?
You haven't played any of them.
I don't play any.
Nor have you read them or seen them.
I've seen them. The Geistwood surprised me, even though I don't run Geistwood. I do play Mirror Realm, but it obviously, that's why it was questionable, because in my mind it duplicates a thing.
Yeah.
But if you had asked me to name 5, I would not have been able to do it.
And to be fair, the art on Mirror Realm is very red. Like almost red enough to generate its own fire.
Geistwood is green enough to be Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that intuitive player in you that really got you there.
Yeah.
But wow, that's amazing. I thought it was almost 50% at the beginning.
Yeah, I should have.
You really helped me out.
You asked for 40%, and I should have been like, yes, I'll take 40%.
Oh, that's so good. But yeah, so Camelot is one of those added to the 30%, and it decreases the uniques. So I imagine that with Arthurian Legends, we're going to see a lot of unique knights. You know, you can imagine.
Like Sir Tristan,
yeah,
Sir Tristan,
Sir Tristan,
Sir Tristan,
Sir Lancelot,
Sir Arthur,
well, King Arthur probably.
Sir Arthur King.
Sir Arthur, Sir.
The Green Knight, the etc. So there's a lot of unique things.
When you're out and about town, you know, do people call you Sir more these days?
No,
I
don't know.
I've noticed that as Serena gets more pregnant, she gets more ma'ams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you're checking out at a store or something. It's like,
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, or whatever. This past weekend, I was in the store, and the people in front of me were like these teenage boys, like 4 or 5 of them together, and they were ordering food. And one kid had a card.
Yeah,
and it wasn't working.
Sub shop, yeah.
They ordered like this stuff, and like it wasn't working. I could see the panic setting in.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should just buy. And then one of them was like, "Can I Cash App you the money to the account so it'll work?" And then I was like, "Do you have Cash App?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Well, just hand it." And I Cash Apped him, and then I paid for it so they could actually.
That'd be hilarious if you had him Cash App and you just ran out.
Well,
let me teach you a lesson, kids.
The thing, when he handed it to me to type it in, I was like, I've actually seen videos about people getting dunked on with this, because I could enter $500 send and it's over. Like there's no, you can't walk it back. I didn't though.
So they learned a lesson.
But after I did that, they were all like, "Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir." And then they get their food and they're eating, and then I get my thing and I'm walking by, and again, they were really polite and nice.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
Like,
the kids are all right, man.
Like, thank you so much, sir. Like, that, really appreciate you doing that, etc. Anyways.
Yeah, you said, don't worry, kids. I'm still young and cool.
It really...
I understand what a Cash App is.
I know what a technology is. Have you heard of the Facebook? But anyways, I've been getting more sirs and that. Sir, everything, bro.
Can we look at mesmerism, please?
Oh, Steven, you don't need
this card's busted.
You don't need it.
But it's finally, we're really getting rewarded for playing a true faction deck. Have you seen this card?
4.
It doesn't matter. 4's fine. I'm at 4x4. 4x4.
It costs 4.
No, that's great. Gain control of it at nearby minion.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So
it's not.
good.
It's crazy, dude.
Remember
it's game breaking. And then you can instantly
Warlord
use
tutorial
it.
Where you just stole Steven's card and then won?
These cards are the most busted cards in all of card games. And there's not a cost cap on it because God bless the team. And you can use it instantly because you don't have summoning sickness when you steal something. It's so fundamentally better than anything that I've seen in the game so far.
Yeah, but it comes with a massive penalty, which is you have to play water.
Already doing it.
And it requires your opponent playing good cards.
Yeah, they're doing that as well.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things when we were testing for SorceryCon, that really was notable to me, because there's the red card that steals something too, though, right?
Infiltrate.
How many people don't play things that cost more than 5?
Yeah, that's true, and a lot of it is just Genesis effects.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, you're activating your things on your turn, and they're tapped going to your opponent's turn. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying this card is not busted because it's very good. It's a game-changing card. It's unique though. You only have one of your own. But this is the kind of card that makes someone want to go heavy into water, which they need.
Yeah, well, because you have to do that anyway because everything revolves around body of water.
But you need a payoff.
Yeah.
That's bigger, and this is the example.
It's a good payoff. I mean, you steal their King of the Realm or whatever, and then it's like, oh, suddenly I get all the dudes.
Tony, how do you do, fellow kids?
yeah, exactly. So that's great. And another great piece of art by Drew Tucker, our close personal friend who we met at Gen Con. And then I want to see Siege Giant as well. Is that Truett Parish, I think, did that one?
Did we look at Banshee long enough?
No, please pull up the art for that again.
Hold on.
And the whole story about where's Siege Giant? I love it. I love that art too.
I just love that guy getting tossed.
And what do you think the Siege Giant does before you read the text?
He sends something that costs less forward.
Yeah, that's what he does. Once on your turn, Siege Giant throws a weaker minion through the air to a nearby
I literally
location.
had not seen the text on that card.
I mean, that's what he's doing. So yeah.
This is why I love sorcery. That's so intuitive. Like clearly, that's what that does.
And it's not on its face very good.
It's a 4/4,
but
fine.
It will be good. And in draft and sealed formats, this would be an obvious great card.
So
and then suddenly,
imagine, Steven.
It gets Jonathan's brain turned into.
You get a Siege Giant. You throw a Frogman. That's 2 hops.
And then it can hop over
One
something.
skip this time.
And then you can do 2 damage to anything.
So then you can slide to the right.
But if it has that poison blade on it, well, now we're getting somewhere.
And then when the Cha-Cha Real Slow card comes out.
And thank God it's not a direct damage card. So Fire maybe has to try a little bit. And what's next? Look at the art for the Banshee. This was genius. I saw Alan Pollock's post about how to create a sad ghost. And it's like, well, you can't show him crying because tears are transparent. You can throw an avatar, Simon. Thank you. Yeah, it's great. You can't. I mean, how do you do this? And so you get this beautiful Banshee curled around a skeleton in a dungeon, like mourning the loss of a loved. It's like, and look at the art.
Yeah, the contrast on the black and white there is just so powerful.
This is a beautiful card, and it can be. This is a card that's going to be busted. Cast for 0 if an allied mortal died this turn. That's a foot soldier, Zach. Throw your foot soldier into something. Play this out of your hand for free. Now remember, of course, in sorcery, cards are really valuable. So a lot of times resources aren't your defining limiter, it's cards in hand. So if you have a lot of card draw, this is particularly a lot better. But it's an ordinary, so you can run 4 of these bad boys, kill foot soldiers.
If you just like to look at beautiful things, you're done. Just put it in the deck.
I do love that. And David said, play a foot soldier, play the werewolf to eat the foot soldier and get a free 3, and then immediately play a Banshee for free, and now you've got these things on like turn 1. In a perfect setup, it's great. And you got a werewolf and a Banshee, and like that's what we play sorcery for. That's
that's the first sentence of the book, and then it all spins out from there. You know.
That's beautiful. So the set is looking like an absolute slam dunkaroo. Yeah, all they have to do is just what they do. They don't have to change anything.
And I saw you noting it, but the kind of alt sorcery logo themed after the Arthurian Legends coloring, it seems absolutely stunning. I think this I'm excited for the theory to be tested of we don't have to continually put new products in front of your face for people to stay engaged.
Yeah.
Sort of like a great movie or film series or a TV series. It's like we don't need to drop it all at once so you can binge it, and we don't need to constantly put episodes out.
Mm-hmm.
We can just do it at our own pace and make it great, and people will keep coming back.
I'm gonna watch every new. Well, I would have. I guess I don't know if Miyazaki is still retired or if he's out of retirement for the 8th time, like the Brett Favre of animation. But it's like a Miyazaki movie, right? Every time a new Miyazaki comes out, it's like I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I don't need you to bang me over the head with an email every.
You don't
5
need
seconds.
a monthly Miyazaki.
No, I'll watch
engagement.
it when it comes out. I'll love it.
CD Mina asking if Oklahoma Panhandle was a sight card in Sorcery, what would it do? Nothing.
I don't know. Raise pigs. It would raise pigs, as far as I know.
It would be. I mean, it depends on what year we're setting it in. You go back to the Wild West. I'm sure there's some. That's the true Wild West.
Yeah, what would it do?
No laws.
Pigs. I think there's some cotton out there.
Have you seen the art for Humble Village?
A lot of wind.
Have I seen it?
It's what it would be. It would just be a humble.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot going on out there.
Wind, a lot colder than people think. The blizzards come through there more.
Because that makes sense because the storms always come
a lot more snow and ice
that direction.
Mm-hmm. And it's very close to Colorado.
Yeah,
you can drive like 30 minutes to get to Colorado. Hour maybe.
Depends on where you're at in the fan.
Yeah. Guyman.
It's a long stretch of land. All right. Last but now not least, the appropriate quote: Warlord.
There's not one. I'll make one.
We don't have a logo.
We don't have one. No.
Well, we can't talk about it then. Backer Kit is up. Currently scheduled to close July 5th. And the team at Kingswood is still posting updates regularly on the Kickstarter. There's also, they have a Patreon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I signed up for during I didn't know it even existed really until the Kickstarter.
And I was on that for a long time ago.
And then
vetting them.
Now I'm getting emails all the time and I like it.
Yeah.
It's like, just not all the time. It's aggressive. But like, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I'm happy about it.
They do lore stuff. They do podcasts through that. I don't know if they'll keep that going once they kind of go full retail. And I guess they need to cut a revenue stream if people pay it.
I assume the Patreon would. They've been in the Patreon for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back and start.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've been missing so much.
Yeah.
And then they spoiled Griffin of Andover.
Beautiful.
I didn't see this.
It's a steed. I love steeds.
So pretty.
Limited order, spend, journey. Opposing characters may not react to or during this action is too fast. Yeah, beautiful. Flying steed, man.
Journeys move forward or backwards.
Yeah.
Most mounts only move forward.
Nice. But it's flying. Yeah, we played World of Warcraft.
Look at that.
And it gives you what? +1? I can't see that number up there.
Yep, +1.
+1 attack, +1 defense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hard
there
to hit a
are other
griffin.
griffins. Let me see if I can pull one up real quick.
Man, that's cool.
Right.
I love it. I just want to get deep into that fantasy world, man.
Before we pivot to Warlord gameplay, let me use back.
Okay. What are we playing in terms of Warlord?
I have the card to play the deck we didn't get to play last time. If you just want to do constructed.
Yeah. Okay. Or is there a limited thing that we have access to as well? We don't have packs, do we?
I do have a box of packs, but that's a whole experience.
Here's a previous griffin.
Griffin of Messier. +2 attack, but no plus defense. Spin, move forward. Before it falls forward to fix an illegal rank, spend it. This fighter does not spin or stun before moving. I love that. So you get a free rank correction. I don't know. I just love it all. I really just don't. I just love it all. I just love all of it. Everything that. Here we go. All the fantasy stuff. I just can't really get enough of it.
It's great. I mean, we grew up with it. What more do you need to know?
I know.
Cool
Is it nostalgia or is it just awesome?
And knights.
And that Warcraft 2
Warcraft 2 soundtrack, Warcraft 3 soundtrack. Most of the Warcraft 2 soundtrack. I think there's some special surprise for Steven in that pile.
Is that this?
I don't know. There's quick special surprises for you?
I guess I'll put it back. Don't tell Zach that
Okay.
I did it.
He'll never know.
He'll never know. I think I'm going to play the Deveranians today. Maybe I'll play the Illusionists. Maybe that's the surprise.
There it is. Maybe someone finally meets your illusion desires.
Yeah, I mean, they might have illusion plus water. I mean, that's actually possible, which is crazy. That's like exactly what I've been waiting for my whole life. But all of illusion is, it is a water-based thing. It's just being able to adapt. I just remember in D&D, it was so fun because you basically said, I want to make this illusion. And then it was like the DM would be like, that was really clever. You like avoided the encounter because they heard a voice. And it's like, yeah.
All right.
That's way more powerful than a fireball.
That's right. Subtle but powerful.
Manipulation.
They go in
Cleverness.
They go into the light and dark spirit side, and not so much the water mirage side.
Yeah, they just kind of boxed it into the combat based. It's a thing that does damage, and you make a dark spirit, and then it turns real, and they got to make a save or die.
You're not looking to summon demons as an illusion.
Nah, dude. If we get to combat, I feel like Illusionist has kind of failed.
That's true.
It's like, I don't know, or like dazzle light some, be like, ugh, whoa, I'm mesmerized, and then run away. I thought it would always be fun to play an all Illusionist party.
Oh, wow.
Just like a traveling circus, basically.
Yes, Mr. Yeah, they do have a late pledge.
Yeah, they got late pledges.
Pledge manager is open.
I swear, I don't know how any of that works.
Like, YouTube just locked me out of being able to put comments up. But,
great.
Yeah, so I don't know
Warlord
why that
CCG.
happened.
What do we got? Backer kit? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's a backer kit. Let me see if I can do it. Backer kit. Yeah.
Or is it pledge manager?
No, it's backer kit. Warlord.backerkit.com.
I lost my survey. Get my survey. Oh, missed the campaign. Pre-order now. There it is. Yeah, warlord.backerkit.com.
Are you filling out your survey?
/survey stores. Wait, why? What is
Yeah,
this?
it always goes to survey stores. I don't look at that. That's too much.
Okay, so then you can build your own package and start your own order. Okay, weird.
See if I can post this. Probably not.
And so GameFound is another way to do this? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think that's how the system works. Is that you got your Kickstarters, your GameFounds, and your backer kits.
I guess
all doing roughly the same.
I guess we owe it to ourselves to actually understand how this all works. And
well, I think
maybe me in particular.
I think GameFound was originally created to be a backer kit.
Correct.
Tool. Backer kit was a tool created to manage your Kickstarter campaign post-campaign. And then GameFound created a similar tool. And then GameFound built the Kickstarter type tools into their system.
So you can use either GameFound or Kickstarter and backer kit?
So you could use Kickstarter plus GameFound or backer kit. You can now also use GameFound that has its own backer kit.
Plus GameFound.
Thing. So it's GameFound the whole way through.
That's the way I would do it. If I were, I mean, I wouldn't want to go Kickstarter to GameFound. I'd go GameFound to GameFound or Kickstarter to backer kit.
Yeah, but they definitely have different utilities and audiences and stuff. GameFound was the first one to allow for the late pledge phase. Because Kickstarter, of course, was like, back me building this rocket ship. There is no late pledge situation, but more and more it became, especially for tabletop, kind of like a souped up pre-order system.
It really doesn't make sense. It'd be like if like, hey, you want to early invest in this thing? Yeah. And then it's like, also you can keep doing it. There's no actual end.
Yeah.
There's no risk.
Yeah.
You take the risk, but then you can just buy the stuff afterwards as well.
Yeah. So anyways, Kickstarter recently launched that, or is launching that functionality as well.
Oh.
They're starting to have to adapt because
about time.
Yeah.
They've been able to run the gravy train for like 6 years now.
Before we dive into this, I did want to show you something.
Is it a surprise?
It is a surprise. I'm finding ways to inject surprises in my life that won't make people uncomfortable.
We'll see if you succeed.
Yeah, we will.
Staying on.
Succeed. I will see if we succeed. So after playing and seeing the campaigns up for Warlord, and after playing the 4-player game and stuff, I went back and I started collecting. And particularly, I saw that Warlord that can play all the dragons.
Uh-oh.
And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna buy one of each dragon, because most of the deck lists that you see with dragons, people don't have like play sets of them in there. And I don't know if that's just because they're hard to get or whatever.
Whoa, that's a lot of dragons, bruh.
So I was buying the dragons. Here's some more dragons.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
While I was there,
look at all these guys.
There's a warlord, I forget her name, but she can play all the dragons without penalty. So of course that's going to happen at some point.
Oh, gosh, these are so awesome.
And while I was there,
I get it.
I was like, well,
Did you buy me a deck?
I didn't buy you a deck per se, but I did buy a few things that you might be interested in. Like this guy.
Adonis the Cozener?
Mm-hmm. And then
like cozy?
You had posted this person.
Kiandra the Utile?
But then it really gets into the stuff that I think you'll be excited about.
Ooh, Thalassa. Oh, that's an aquatic warlord. Yes! Thalassa spells are water actions, all of them.
More dragons.
How do you spell Lhasa?
Thalaasa, like thalassophobia.
Lhasa. Okay, got it.
Ooh, plus 11 on the skills. They call her Terror from the Deep. Yes, this is exactly what I would play.
Yeah.
Spin react. After the decree phase, which is now just the order phase, remove up to 4 spells in your discard pile from the game. Target all opposing characters within 3 ranks. Each target must succeed with a stamina save. DC 9 plus 2 per removed spell. It should be 8. So that's going to be a 17. Or suffer a wound and may not ready during the next ready phase. This is a water action. That's unbelievable. So she's got a Spirit Bomb.
Yeah. There's also this guy. This is just a dude that can be in your thing.
Ooh, Aguas, yes. Yes, love this. An aquatic elemental. I loved this one.
Which one?
Aguas, Aguas. Wow, he's like crazy good. Level 5, I guess that makes sense. Once per turn, after a character you control performs a water action, move forward 1 rank. Twice per turn, after it performs a melee strike that missed, target character perform a melee strike against the target. So 2 recoveries on the miss. That's awesome. Unique. Does that mean only 1 in the deck? Or
Yeah,
1 in play?
That's a good question. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep handing things.
Yeah, more water stuff, dude. I'm gonna build this deck for sure.
While I was there, you know, and I was ordering internationally, and it was like, well, I'm just gonna do this, and it'll be a very late birthday gift or something. It doesn't matter.
Wow, White Squall is crazy.
What to do?
Basically, you spend, and then all ready level 1 characters get spent, and all level 1 characters enter play spent. There's got to be ways to make that insane. Like things that can do things while they're spent, that kind of stuff.
You're back in the sea.
Look at you go, man. This is awesome.
I think there's a deck somewhere in here. We need more cards, which I have a booster box in there, so we'll see what we end up getting up to.
So this is 2 wounds on a DC, and then
All right. Hello.
target up to 2 characters within 2 ranks. Each target with a magic save and suffer 1 wound. Wow. Goodness gracious. So you can spin or you can react after the wizard performs a water action. That's it. That's awesome.
Final water card. Ride the wave.
Yes. Look at that. Look at old water Legolas there on a surfboard.
Surfing Legolas.
Spin order. Move forward 1 rank. If possible, perform a +5. Yeah, these cards are all incredible.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Someone asked what my favorite looking dragon was. So I don't know what we'll end up doing. You can do whatever you want with those. These are also in that stack. These are just characters I think you posted. These are the illusionists.
The Deveranians, yeah.
Yeah. I figured it would be better to have them and not need them than the other way around. Someone asked what my favorite looking dragon is. I'd be curious to get your answer to that question as well.
Favorite looking dragon? Oh, I can choose that.
Of this pile. I really like Ebon Scourge, EBONSCOURGE. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
man.
Just a cool looking card.
Kiandra is cool.
That's probably my favorite on first pass.
Wow, she's awesome. Holy.
C-A-N?
Kiandra.
It's like Kiandra.
That is an incredible card. I mean, I don't know if it's actually incredible because I haven't played Warlord
she
for
got a big
20
hat.
years, but
Yeah, do you have a favorite looking?
Yep, I can get there.
There may be water dragons. Who knows?
Oh, Vertigus. Oh, it's nearby.
It is.
Didn't know there was a
They're
dragon.
building a theme park in Vertigus.
No.
A theme park?
Like Disneyland?
What kind of
Like
a theme
a
park are they
America
building?
Land or something like that.
Vertigus.
You said America Land?
No, it's in Veneta. Sorry.
That makes a little more sense, but not much. I think it's Terror Shard for me.
Which one?
That's classic dragon art right there.
Spooky Fog.
Terror Shard.
T-A-R-A?
Terror.
Terror. Okay.
Terror.
Terror.
Terror what?
Terror Shard.
And card has 2 A's.
Yes, it does.
Of course.
That's classic dragon.
Clearly.
Though. That's like old Hobbit dragon. Just
these are
wise
booster packs
and
that we
unforgiving. Love it. What constructed decks do you have?
So there's the one that I played last time against the we did an Overlord deck.
Mm-hmm. That's like a good deck.
Just like I need to. We have sleeves.
We have sleeves over there on the.
We need to re-sleeve this. Look at this. The penny sleeve problem.
Yeah.
Oh, I can. So that's that one. I got. I don't know how to say that.
Sanguinel.
And let me pull up the deck list.
An elf warlord necromancer unique with scribe 6. Hand size is increased by 1. Characters in your army may not use card effects to draw cards, so it just has a natural 6 cards in hand.
How do you spell it?
Saunginel.
I'm just gonna pull up the list to make sure everything checks out.
Is this also supposed to be like a good list?
Yeah.
This is like one of the heavy hitters.
Legitimate list.
Very cool.
Are these into the Woodrow set?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay, so that is the Warlord, and then you've got 2 kennels.
What's the point of my deck?
Well, I think I have a little explanation.
What color sleeves you want?
What do you got? 3. Gem. I don't care. 3 decks.
Dude, we're sleeve rich. This is like the greatest thing that's ever happened in the stream. All right, you're going to play with there's some red. You like red?
Beautiful.
And here's looks like a blue. I'll take a blue. Let's do it. Man, I'm looking forward to playing some Warlord.
Yeah.
Definitely an Archer Tower. That card is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I know the meta now.
I definitely looked at that card when I was.
It's like what's the card in Sorcery you like so much that tosses things?
All of them.
Why do they do the boxes like this? It's just such a. Has anyone ever thought about how you open these?
I was looking to see all the different siege cards. See what we're looking at, and unfortunately, my dwarves don't have any siege.
It isn't.
Well, they're underground. They don't siege anything. They just
I know
they
it's
burrow.
a work thing.
There's a something in Sorcery that launches things that you're all about. Catapult?
Geyser?
Lots of things.
Yeah, the
Which thing?
trebuchet?
There it is.
Yeah, trebuchet. Yeah.
Or the siege, the catapult thing, the
Catapult,
smaller
also
one,
good.
whatever the smaller one is.
Yeah.
I forget what the smaller one's called.
The ballista.
Ballista. Siege ballista, yeah, that's
siege
right.
ballista. Big fan of the siege.
Ooh, I like this color. It's called yellow.
This color.
But it's a nice yellow. Look at that. That's a nice little kind of a matte yellow. Sanguinel is from 2002, so that was one of the OG sets, one of the early sets. So we're playing the Ancients format. That's interesting.
Correct.
These are like the hottest decks on the block.
These are
right?
top Ancients decks for real.
Like just merciless,
No
insane
cap.
decks.
I think it's legit just decks.
Just kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Almost there.
Yeah, it's the gargoyles. The dwarves have the gargoyles. That's correct. And the gargoyles are very cool.
The dwarves do have the gargoyles, and that is a cool thing for dwarves to have.
Yes.
Makes sense because they craft them, and then they imbue them with life.
Yeah. I like that. I like that take on it.
I'm gonna get a snack. You want a snack?
I'm okay on the snack front, but thank you.
Water?
I would take a sparkling water. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
there's
whatever.
some sparkling water.
The Staff of Secrets. It's a cool name for a card. I don't know what it does. I'll read it when I'm beating it.
There's a lot of secrets. We gotta. Oh man, is this?
What?
So whenever I was doing my deep dive into the Accord Lands one dark night when I was going crazy about Warlord, there's some armor and items that get bonuses the more of the set that you have.
Mm.
And I don't remember any off the top of my head, but if chat says anything, post them up. Yeah, J.K. Lawling's chat is super error-y for me too. I guess you can see my face when I say that. It's weird. It's like on and off. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it doesn't. Asana wasn't loading for me today either, so maybe like a weird internet day. Maybe the AI have finally gained sentience.
Finally won.
Yeah. First thing they're shutting down is our task management software and our YouTubes. No, thank you.
Sparkles?
No sparkles for me. I'm a flat water man.
Flat water.
Mr. Yal is asking, Zach, where did you find all your dragons?
Let me get this correct. Card Game Geek is a European website that has a bunch of old dead card games, and
I'm not dead, man.
that's where I'm dead in terms of no more expansions.
What is dead may never die?
Yeah. Anyone watch the House of the Dragon season?
It's getting
2?
renewed, so apparently it's good.
No,
Dude, season 1 was great, and it has nothing to do with Dave or
I
Dan
don't believe that.
or George.
Hey, here's some fun stuff. So here's the
This is your
subcategories
stack
for
of
all
IDs,
of our
leave it.
factions
You're-
here. The dwarves have a subcategory of gargoyles. Nolthrog have the siege.
Mm-hmm.
Elves, of course, have undead, and the Free Kingdoms have the Lycanthropes, which is cool. I like Lycanthropes. Just because they're so weird and hardly ever done right. So when you get a good one, it's like really
About
worth
Warlord
it.
does it right.
What's a lycanthrope?
Werewolf. Anything that changes into any
Or
other
were
thing.
X.
Yeah, were cats, were
Are there
dogs.
werebears?
Mm-hmm. We're bats, we're bears.
Yeah.
They really are.
Do they have like
Yeah,
hearts
yeah.
and stuff and rainbows on their chest? Werebears?
You miss. That's funny. You missing D&D has robbed you of a great many things that exist.
Lycanthropic.
That's one way of looking at it. It also means there's a whole world I get to still
You can just
experience.
explore it now.
I wish I could go wash my eyeballs out of everything Star Wars and start over
Mm-hmm.
and select carefully.
And the Deveronians have the Storm Wraiths. I'm gonna go look up some Lycanthropes. I'll be right back. Also,
I'll be right back.
while we're here, Josh
I'll be
Brophy,
right back.
the Dwarf faction has 2 of the cards I got printed in the player created set. That's 2, not just 1, not just 0, but
Joseph,
2.
is Brophy your actual last name? That's awesome if it is.
Board game Brophies.
If that was one of our last names, we could be the Board Game Brophies.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find some of these Lycanthropes to pop up for you, Zach.
I like this corn snack.
Smells like it would be tasty.
Corny.
Definitely that.
Hey.
Man, penny sleeves.
I like how the stream goes from like being on to then like
Eating snacks and
chill.
sleeving.
It's just like, yo, okay, we made it through like the
How many cards are supposed to be
heavy
in
part. Now it's just the lifers that are with us.
a Deer Warlord deck?
The Covenant lifers. Say what? Anyone want to watch me re-sleeve this?
How many cards are supposed to be in here?
30? John, right?
I've never built actually had to build a deck, you know?
I think it's like 30. Maybe 40 at the max.
These sleeves are going to be like butter.
Mm-hmm.
Going from those penny sleeves.
I love these old cards, dude.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Just look at them.
Just look at that.
JK says 50, and JK has been obsessed with this thing, so.
Alright.
Ooh, pulls the strings. Yeah. You gain control into your next turn. This is the thing you use to bamboozle me. Dude, you just don't know. I mean, like I remember looking through the player's handbook when I was picking spells for a wizard and being like, oh, do I want Chain Lightning or Melf's Acid Arrow or
This remind you of that?
it's all here. These are the actual spells, like from the books.
Look at this big boy.
You scar?
There's a werebear.
Werebear indeed. Can't see his chest though.
Once per game.
Can't prove it's official.
Once per game until the end of the game. He gains +5 attack and +1 HP. It has additional melee strike.
And he can't have items because he turns into a bear.
Turns into a bear. See?
I get
You
it.
see? It's right there on the card.
What's up, Daniel Brown? I'm new. I heard you say that your subscribers on YouTube remains constant. I feel guilty knowing that someone is no longer watching because I joined. Hey, thanks for subscribing, yeah?
That's hilarious.
We're pretty sure it doesn't actually matter. That's kind of the new take on YouTube is the subscriptions don't matter.
It's just a vanity metric.
Yeah. But I'm vain.
I'm vain.
So I appreciate that. Actually, we had single to double digits growth, didn't we? Did we not last month?
All I know is I looked at the app to see there was some. Oh, I asked if anyone, if it was your first time watching, can you comment? Did anyone comment in that regard? I don't think they did. Yeah, because it's the same subscribers that have been with this the whole time.
No, there's nothing. No comment.
Oh man. Anyways, and then I got distracted.
Huh?
See that art?
Oh yeah.
Got some.
What's she aware? What's she aware?
She's a lycanthrope.
But of what? It has to be a form.
We don't know yet. It's to be discovered.
I bet you stay on that Kingswood Patreon long enough, you'll find out.
Yeah, probably.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh, look, foils. I haven't seen foils in the game. Wow.
I think some cards only come in foil. It's like some of the dragons I could not. One of the dragons I could not find in non-foil.
There was no rules, man. It was Outback Steakhouse back then. no rules, just right in the early days of Warlord, man.
Also, one of the dragons I literally could not find on the internet, and
well, that got your attention.
well, I was talking to Woodrow about it. Had been fun to like have to try to hunt down these dragons.
So you are a collector.
Yes, I said I'm a collector with the intent of playing, though.
Oh no, I think you've always said you're a collector, but that like definitely seals you. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, it's fun to hunt this down.
Yeah.
Some people will be like, it's so annoying.
And then he was like, "Hey, give me your address," and he just sent me a copy.
Aw.
So Woodrow the greatest and the kindest.
Woodrow the Great.
Put it on the box.
You'd think it'd just be because like we're on stream playing and stuff, but I think it's just he would do that for anybody.
I do believe he would do that for.
He just wants people to be playing Warlord, and those are the people you probably want making the game.
Admirable.
I'm saving my first 5 in different sleeves, and I know that might break some things if they go back in deck or whatever, but I don't care.
I think we can figure that out.
My gosh, have you seen this guy?
Kindle?
Kindle, look at this guy. First of all, the art's fantastic.
Is that spelled super weird, I imagine?
Kinnell.
K-I.
But like he hits a level 1 in their front rank and does 2 wounds. So like any of your beef that you try to put up there, it just takes care of. Like at 2.
Plus the whole game plan.
That's incredible. Yeah, beef. I'm gonna kill that beef.
You'll remember the beef.
Okay, cool. So there's my first 5. And then we sleeve up our 45 cards, it should be. Powerful.
Yeah, let me count. It's a little precarious situation. Mateo? Is that how you say that? Matthew? I don't know how to say that name. How do you say that name?
Yeah, Matthew. Yeah.
You still play X-Wing at all? Question mark. I started following you guys because of X-Wing. I remember Zach's love for the Empire faction, of course, and Steven's love of the E-Wing. I forgot about that.
I freaking love the
Cornhorn, baby.
Cornhorn, man.
I have not played X-Wing in a long time.
Yeah, his moment at one point.
2.0 broke my spirits. And then, not long after that, actually, episode 9 came out. And then it was all over. Then the pandemic, and then never looked back. I don't even know what a Star Wars is anymore.
I wonder if episode 9 is maybe one of the worst movies of all time.
So I will say, as the Zach Price ranking the entire thing, had episode 9 at the absolute bottom of his list.
Am I starting with that?
Mad respect. I don't know what you're starting with.
I had 3 1s and 2 2s at the very bottom of the stack. I figured that was
That's probably it.
Yeah, that's correct.
But there was shuffling around.
So Zach is a new Star Wars fan and totally agreed that episode 9 was just horrid.
His description of it was, I honestly, I didn't think that the final movie could possibly be that bad.
Okay.
I think those were the words. Where
And he
like,
wasn't even an old timer or anything.
He's not
He was
attached.
fresh,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Pedro
valid.
recommended you look at this card, Zach.
It's validating.
Jin Valford, Free
a-
Kingdoms Warlord Ranger Lycanthrope.
That's a dragon lycanthrope?
Dragon lycanthrope.
A were-dragon?
Wow. It goes too deep. There's too... I'm going to pull a Khazad-dûm.
Whoa.
We dug too
crazy. Deep. Oh my goodness. Do you see this?
Play something from your hand spent into play in rank 4. He gains Jin Valford's wounds and the Warlord trait. Remove Jin Valford from the game. Once per turn, move to Lycanthrope in your army. So that's the true transformation. You transform into a genuine other thing.
There we go. Oh, look at it. Transforms to this big old dog.
Whoa! 21 AC and 4 attacks. Say no more.
Dude.
Dude.
Bro. He turns into that?
Yeah.
That art is killer.
The lizard brain never dies,
that's
man.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Pedro. That's amazing. Goodness gracious. They're just doing that.
Steve's about to go to Cincinnati here.
I feel like with Warlord, I'm constantly on the edge. It's a little terrifying. It's like at any moment there might be a lot of things I need to buy, and I'm not fully aware of them yet. That's one of them. It's like,
Talk to old J.K. Lowlings about that one.
Mm-hmm.
We're in too deep.
On his 5th mortgage to get Warlord cards at this point. Okay.
I think.
Are we ready or are we ready?
I think we're ready. How did that go?
Great. I sleeved him up, and now I'm just going to draw him and play him. And I'm going to roll a d20 in the process.
There was something in my starting 5 last time in the second row. Was it that tower? I made a mistake. That's why you're sleeving them differently. You're a very smart guy.
Yeah, thanks. Matthew Beauregard, you played Star Wars Unlimited. Yeah, we played it. We played a little draft format, seal format, and then...
You know what? I snuck a little of that in this weekend because also at Origins, Ian and Matt are playing. On Friday, there's like a big Star Wars tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And like Saturday is a big alphaclash tournament. I have a Darth Vader deck and a Hera Rebels deck that I have put together. The Vader deck is good. The Rebels deck is not. That's what I learned. But it was fun. And Tim gave me a Boba Fett deck. I've never had any doubts that the FFG team would design an incredible game. And they've done that. It's a very fun game. But yeah, it seems like it's going well. They previewed today the Rey Kylo that can play together. Which, you know, has some amount of appeal to me still. But it's hard, man. we were talking about that whole situation today, and it's like I just don't know if I can go back. I'm not ready to be hurt again.
Once bitten, twice shy. You know what they say. I definitely think they squeezed it too hard. They did it. There was such hope whenever the Disney thing came through, hope. And it got so like honestly worse.
Yeah.
Like just boy, it did. But we got Andor.
You know, really.
Hey, I think this is supposed to be
the 1-2 punch of Disney killing Star Wars and then the whatever guys killing Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
A real big hit for fandom in general.
Yeah.
It was not a fun time.
That was the year that the Avengers Endgame came out as well. At the end of the year, they nailed that.
Oh, yeah,
stuck that landing hard. But at the end of the year, I was like, going into this year, if I had to bet on any of these sticking the landing, Marvel would have been at the lowest of my list.
Yeah.
And they stuck it so well. And then Thrones and Rise of Skywalker were just so bad.
Yeah.
Still can't get over it.
It was just time and care. Goes back to every single time.
They're too big.
Time and care.
They're too big to carry.
That's supposed to be in your day.
Too big to carry. Oh no.
It also goes back to the having a plan. And Marvel has since suffered from lack of plan, it seems.
They had a plan.
Well, like...
The plan was take a shotgun and pull the trigger and see what content comes out.
Load it full of Star Wars.
The Star Wars plan was
load it full of Star Wars dollars.
Print money, which they have succeeded at.
Yeah, I'm sure they got their cash. Congratulations, they did it.
I think all 3 of the sequels are top 20 grossing films in the U.S. of all time. We were looking at that this week. So they succeeded at that.
Does Bob Iger get a cut?
No, he's back actually.
Yeah, I'm sure his 5th house is going to be awesome.
My Galactic Star Cruiser shut down though. You know what I mean?
Hey, yeah, Jenny Nichols, man, she nailed it. Nailed it to the wall.
It's
Give
Cool.
it the 2 hours needed to
You
be
did it.
thoroughly eviscerated.
You got a bunch of money. Taylor, what's up, Taylor? I need to meet you in person. Taylor might be gone.
Like that old Simpsons gift of Grandpa Simpson walking in.
Jonathan, can you overhead and we'll see where we need to line these bad boys up? Oh, Zach, you were on the money, dude.
It's just right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at that. Context clues.
Yeah.
He doesn't know no threshold lands. They don't
But
have the context.
my goodness,
says no.
if it's intuitive, I'm in.
He's intuitive.
I see. I got it. I caught up.
Yeah.
All right. What's oh, that art looks awesome.
Can we just not read the cards and start rolling?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I just want to see this art.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the name of that art if you were
Javyn? Javvyn. Who did it? Stephanie?
Does ethereal
Wait,
is ethereal the odd even thing?
Yeah.
So you miss on an odd?
There's two keywords, but they both now just mean misses on even.
It was. You'll appreciate this.
Is ethereal miss on even? Can you verify that?
They're both miss on even.
Is it
used to
even or
be
odd?
ethereal
Even?
miss on even, abyssal miss on odd, or vice versa. They're like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's all just 50-50 shots. So
Yeah, that's right.
they're all planar, considered planar now.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, it says odd strikes miss right there in the lobby there. On that version, at least. On the new version.
That's
Wait.
not the new version.
Is it
That's
the
just
old
a
version or the
digital-
new version.
That's just a digital version that we have, but that's not a new card.
All these cards are from the Accord lands. So
Like their
for
old
whatever that's
database.
worth.
At some point, they probably reprinted it.
Could have been a reprint.
Attach them to the target, and then we'll have it attached to a character. They made it better. Does not count as a character. Prevent the rank behind him from being illegal. Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's these decks are okay. I get it. You just
These are good decks.
You just make it so annoying. That's the idea.
Dude, JK, I'm in. X-Men 97 is a absolute. Disney doesn't always stick the land in and make great stuff, but that is one of the greatest pieces of content ever created. That thing
Slaps.
went hard.
People are talking, man.
Much more than it needed to. All right.
My hand size is increased by 1, by the way.
Ooh.
That's like my ability, I think.
I need to at least read my cards.
Initiative 13.
12.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Well, you said you just want to roll. I'm not going to warn you. I forgot. It's so good. Well, you know what you got to do.
Well, Brother Dominion's got too many things.
Oh, Zach Star was really dominant?
Yes, he is. Of course, he's got one of those dumb decks. Okay, that's very good as
Pedro
well.
says they both miss now on odd,
Yeah, they both miss on odd.
which makes sense because that means 20 hits, and it's a critical hit. So glad that's what they chose.
Touch a card, bring to card face down or more. Perform +4. This is water. Oh, water action. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Tantalizing. You don't. I mean, ooh.
Ooh.
Dude, pull up Judgment Day. Look at the art on this thing. Do you ever find yourself liking a certain kind of card and then actually stepping outside of yourself and being like, why does this appeal to me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at that art. Why is that appealing to me?
It's something deep.
It's troubling. It's really troubling.
Yeah. All right, my first action. You know what I'm going to do, Zach? I'm playing off book. Are you ready for the off book?
Yes. What's a good character or a bad character in the game?
If they're white or black in their icon.
I'm playing the evil necromancers, and you're playing those. I'm gonna play Jackals of Morn back here in rank 4.
What?
Not important.
I don't even care what it does.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna win.
Nobody
anyway.
does. Yep.
All right. Let's swing with Brother Dominic, because if you know what's good for you, you'll kill him immediately. And we'll just attack. I like when your whole front row is the same, because it's just like, okay. So it's a 0 attack, but all my level 1 stuff is +2/+2 from Adarmi.
Mm-hmm.
So he's +2 coming in at your 6 defense.
He's also +3, is he not?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Because, well, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If he's a fighter.
All characters in this rank. Okay.
Yeah, +5. But it won't matter. You're going to roll it.
So 5 to your 6?
You're going to roll it on, though.
But you have that dumb
I have
keyword?
ethereal, yeah.
Where's that at?
Ethereal.
Right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So odd strikes miss. Is that what that what we agreed?
Yeah.
That's what it said on the lobby there.
Can't miss.
But that's a 6.
Yeah, you said odd strikes miss.
Yeah. So that's even.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a 6.
When I got
and a 6,
+5.
it's a 6. And you get +5.
Yeah. So there's 1 wound on this thing.
React. After Javelin is killed by a target opposing character, attach it to the target.
Oh no, I should have read the card.
While Javelin is attached, this does not count in terms of saving illegal ranks. So you're currently a 2 and a 2 and a 1.
All right, I'm going to do this just to
That's cool.
visually represent.
Right on. All right, I'm going to spin an order on Jackals of Morn. Once per turn, move it exactly 3 ranks forward.
Someone's Warlord.
They're the blink dogs. Oh wait, this is the wrong one. No, wait, these are the same things. Oh, they're different printings of the same card. This one looks better. I'm going to play this one. Look at the difference there. This one's readable. And this one's older.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my god, I played the wrong card, but it's the same card.
I was looking at the art, and I was like, it's the same.
So this is order once per turn, move forward exactly 3 ranks. 1, 2, 3. And that's a +4/+6 in the front rank, which I will need to take out your brother Dominic at a +bajillion.
Okay. Let me see if I have anything to stop that. Oh, I see.
He just doesn't count for ranks.
That's cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and attack this thing.
Okay.
How do you not just die here?
It has ethereal as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
bummer.
Miss on odds.
Okay, so I'm +5. 6 going on 6. I fail on a 1 because it's a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then any odd number.
Any odd number, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I really would like to hit this one.
Yeah, well, yeah. Agreed.
Oh, yes.
All right, I got a reaction.
Oh, no.
Sanganel is going to cast Severed of Flesh. After one of your unsung characters dies, before that happens, put it into play in the same with the undead trait and 1 hit point.
What? So you just don't die?
Yeah, it's just...
This is...
You got necromancered. Okay. Use Jackals of Morn.
I'm sorry, Brother Dominic. You're going to town.
He's at 14 AC. I'm at a +4/+6. I really want to take out 2 things, and I don't know how greedy I want to get. I could do a 4 and then a 6 if I miss. I could do a 4 here.
I see.
And then a 6 here. Potentially take out 2, like here and here.
I mean, so...
Or I could go here and here, and then you have no ranks, and you've got to throw everything forward, because this one doesn't count for ranks.
But the 4 would miss on both of them, right?
Yes.
Like at the first attack?
Mm-hmm.
And if he's your priority target, you should just start with him, right?
I guess so.
Because if it hits, he's gone, and then you can...
And this one searches something and puts it into play, and I put it in your hand.
Yeah,
so it
level
still
1
counts for
something.
ranks, yeah. All right, Domini, 4 on a 14. So we need a 10 or higher, unless you have shenanigans.
Well, it's +2.
Attack and AC?
Yeah.
16, baby.
Ooh.
Which is exactly what you needed.
You gone. That's
Yeah.
a 20 with my +4. So you're long gone.
Yeah. So he goes away, and then you have that back.
Thanks.
Okay.
And then my second attack at a +6 here. Boom. 15.
He's gone. Let's fix that.
And then you do a die,
What's the
shuffle
name
them in
of
your...
the-
Oh, wait, let me kill this one. I'm going to kill this one because it's a spin react to get a level 0 or a level 1. That track.
Mm-hmm.
So I
So
think
he's still here.
Yeah, I think you benefit from killing the spent ones.
Gotcha. Okay.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, yours.
What's the name of the guy you just killed?
Liar
Militia. And you spin them as a react to
LLYR.
dying to go get a thing. So I think you just gotta wait and killed him afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. Let's play Spencer Latham into the front row.
What's Spencer doing?
He's just a -1/-1.
That's it?
Yeah.
What is that?
He just gets 2 strikes.
Yeah, he gets 2 strikes, right?
But if you had like +2/+2 and +3/+3, then starts to make some magic happen, you know.
This is interesting, isn't it? Got a +1 on a 10. Seems good. Is he +2/+2 from this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just so good.
The math.
So I got to get an 11 or higher on Javin. I can go a +2 here
As an order.
which would be a 10 or higher instead. Or I could try to play a long ball game here. It's about manipulating the math, isn't it?
Are we still talking about games?
All right, jab in there.
All right, so I'm at a 12, and you're at a...
Need an 11.
Okay. Come on.
15 on the money, baby.
He just can't miss.
Baby.
All right, you got 1 swing left, and she does count to my front row, so that's okay. I'm going to play a fine-hilted saber back here. React after you equip fine-hilted saber. This character has +1 HP until the end of turn. Spend order, perform 2 +3 melee strikes.
Okay. We'll play some jackals back here.
She'll eventually come to town. Okay. Order once per turn. Search my deck for a first level character without the monster trait. Show it to my opponent and put it in my hand.
Okay.
What's the name of your warlord again, Zach?
Adarmy. A-D-A-R-Y-M-Y.
Got it. Oh, cool. I'll leave it.
I'm gonna get Lenora.
Man, sequencing is everything. It's amazing.
I'm gonna put Lenora in my hand.
Okay. That's your action? All right, I'll spin an order and go here.
I'll play Lenora.
Playing Lenora.
She's like a throat.
Leonora. Okay.
Leonora? Yeah, that makes sense. Leonora.
Let's go 4 into Lenora.
All right, she's at a 14.
14. Need a 10. Got a 6. Go 6 into Lenora. Need a 11. Missed. Twice.
We needed something to break our way here.
We needed it. We did need it.
Okay. She... Well, What am I willing to bet? Okay. Just gonna move here.
Okay. Just moving there. Just moving there. Let's play.
How you doing over there?
All right.
Play Staff of Secrets on Sanganel. After a character performs an action to draw a card or retrieve a card from their deck, cancel the action.
What?
And then spend order until end of the turn. Card effects may not be used to draw cards. So I get 1 react to cancel something, or I can spend it ahead of time and no cards can be drawn.
So you once a turn can react and cancel a tutor?
I can cancel a action that draws a character or retrieves a card from deck. I don't believe a spend react is an action.
What about an order?
I think an order is. I don't know if a react is an action.
So like my ability, the once a turn to go search for something,
That's
you just
right.
cancel with that.
Yeah, I think this is the metagame.
What?
Yeah.
That's not fun or fair.
I don't. The react might be an action too. I honestly just don't know. J.K. Longs probably knows.
Okay.
Pedro will also know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend an order on her once per turn. Give a die. Give me a die.
Yeah.
Until the end of turn, Leonora had an additional melee strike base of 0 when she attacks. See if I can tempt you.
All right, let's try to swing into that.
All right, I'm at 14.
I got a +1. Here we go, dads. Woo! We got him out early.
All right, she's gonna swing. She has +2/+2 from Adarmi, so I'm gonna swing here.
Okay.
I need a 4 or higher. No odds.
No odds. That's right.
I get 2/0, so we'll swing on the more complicated one.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Odd missed. Second one.
Same thing.
Yeah, odd missed. Devil.
It's good from this side of that equation.
It feels nice.
Zach feels it. You felt the crush.
By the way, Pedro is replying both to your steps.
Okay, so both. I can cancel anything that searches, basically. Let's play Vivian here. Twice per turn, perform a +1 range strike. Also has marksmanship +5, which I believe you roll as the feat, and then you either can do 2 wounds or you can swing at a +5, I believe. Can you look up marksmanship?
I'll leave that one out.
I'll spend an order. He gets +1 melee strike this turn till the end of turn.
Like an extra one, or just +1
It's
to the
just an
stat?
order. It's not even spent. Says once per turn, target of free kingdoms in your army of equal or lower level. The target has an additional melee strike when he attacks until the end of turn.
Wow, just get an additional for an order. You know, it's not even once per turn. Okay, so it's a
that's fine.
limited order in the new rules. Okay. Can you look up marksmanship for me, please?
Got it. Yep.
Got it.
Marksmanship. Marksmanship. Limited react. Before this character targets a non-spell range strike.
Okay.
Oh, she's level 3.
Has to come in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Keep
Sorry.
going.
Succeed with marksmanship. Check DC 20. Choose one. The strike to the target. The strike to target an additional rank away. Gain +5 to the strike roll. Or the strike inflicts an additional wound.
So I can go 1 additional rank away. That's an option?
Mm-hmm.
Extra wound +5 to the attack or additional rank away. I wish I was in that. I wish I was up there. So this cannot stand. All right, let's take Kennel here. Let's do a +2 range strike there.
All right, I'm at 13.
He's on fire.
All right, spend react. We'll go get a card.
I'm gonna cancel it.
Ha!
Oh. Okay. We're gonna play Kun Jacob. He ignores us astral and ethereal.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
no.
You got how many cards in? 2 left?
It's like I saved my better cards for the end. Although you're destroying me right now. It's not even close. What is happening? Who built these decks?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Woodrow?
And you wrecked a Dragonlord with him last time.
Yeah.
Overlord.
I mean, you can have that.
Woodrow also sent me some Dragon Lords.
I'm just gonna spend a move here.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna eat one of your dogs. +4. Anything but a 1.
You getting a 1 there would have been truly, truly funny.
That would have been poetic to a degree. I agree.
I'll play. It's funny just not knowing, the meta. I'll play Ramorna back here. Order once per turn, attach a card from your discard pile face down. Perform a +4 range strike. This is a water action and a spell. React before this thing is killed. Reveal all face down cards attached to her. Shuffle all revealed spells into your deck. Remove all others from the game. So basically, I can take an order, put one of these under, and then do a range strike at +4. And then when I die, these things get shuffled back in or removed from game. Severed or Flash is probably what I'll do, so it gets shuffled back into my deck.
That's some sick art.
Isn't that sick? And it's water. Like, this is exactly what I'm asking for.
How would you describe that art style?
Color pencil.
Colored pencil, classic.
Really?
Yeah, it's like fantasy colored pencil is the style. Because like even Mythos had a lot of colored pencil stuff, and it has that vibe to it. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm getting.
I'll pass.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, you're done. He's cooked.
He's cooked. Sometimes you just draw cards you can't play. Don't worry, your turn's coming. He's cooked.
Okay, let's go first action. I'm going to do one of my twice per turns order, perform a +1 range strike. I'm going to roll for marksmanship +5. I have a +4 to my skill, so I have a +9 total. I need an 11 or higher on a DC 20 to succeed before I target. 17. I'm going to give myself +5.
It's like the gods woke up today and said, Steven, it's your day.
We'll take a +5 range strike, so I'm at +6 total.
To 12, so you need 6. I spoke it.
Can it air feats once per turn? Limited react, yeah. So one time. All right, that's my order. Back to you.
Pass.
All right, let's take another limited order here.
This is insanity. You can take that order while engaged or tapped.
Not a spend order. Perform a +1 range strike. On Jacob there. Just a raw 20.
Well, in reaction to that, I'll do nothing. We're getting dunked on. Space Jam style. Well, no stopping this dunk. I'll pass. This Rosalie art is so good. By Miguel Coimbra?
Coimbra?
I'm always fascinated by light in paintings or art.
Yeah, that's what they paint. That's apparently the game.
It's just so good.
Okay, so if I move, that's the same thing, which is ultimately what I want. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, and I can stun one. I understand. I'm a Warlord player now. I'm going to order move.
What have we done?
And then stun up here.
Got the classic pyramid formation. I'm in the block formation.
He's in the hot square.
I'm voguing.
That's a good joke.
I like it's funny, but then it's particularly funny because you don't expect it to be funny.
Yeah, man.
It's like, oh, he actually landed one there. Got him. I'll pass, so we good?
I'm going to do a +2 range strike.
Oh, he's not done yet.
Here into Leonora.
I'm at 14. Middle mammy. Get out of here. This one. This character, that's the support character, and these other characters in play to be good. That's all I got left.
All right, over to me. I'm going to take an order here.
He just won't stop.
Attach a card from your discard pile face down to do a +4 range strike. It is a water action and a spell. That Rosalie is fine. I'm at +4. How about a 20 there?
Roll him up. It's Steven's day. He won the bet. I brought him beer. He now gets another beer.
Once I get one Westmala in, dude, I'm unstoppable at dice games. You can't beat me if I've had a beer. It's the number one thing I know.
I'll pass.
Okay. I don't see any reason to move this thing up. And give you an out, so I will pass as well.
Yeah, you learned your lesson from a 4-player game. So your ability is you just get an extra card.
That's it.
And then you have one of your cards cancels my whole ability.
That's right.
Basically, minus the +2/+2. But
Woodrow knew what he was doing when he gave us these decks.
Oh, I made a mistake.
Were you supposed to? You can discard whatever you don't want. Also,
I did. I discarded the whole thing.
And now you got your synergy cards.
I just keep drawing these fine-hilted sabers that I can't play anymore. I've had so many sabers.
So many of them. Mm-hmm. Wow. This is ridiculous, dude. This is ridiculous. This deck is stupid. This deck is stupid, Zach. This is crazy. Is this even okay? Like, should we be doing this?
Welcome to Ancients.
Is Pedro helping you? 4 HP and Scribe?
Yeah. So 4 HP is also a notable.
He's helping Steven. Okay.
Notably has an extra hit point.
What's Scribe do?
An extra card, and then he can put a spell, basically save a spell for later by Scribe checking it. But I could play all the cards in my hand, so I didn't need to do that.
Cool. Hey, speaking of Sirs, I just drew Sir Thomas of Selenar. I can't play him because I've only got 3 rows. Or 2 rows. Cool.
You want to roll initiative? See what happens?
No, that's not it.
I'd kind of prefer to go home with my ball, you know?
2.
At least they can win that.
It's got game.
All right, well, Rosalie, we'll just go ahead and punch here. She's at +3, attacking your 6. So I need a 3, technically a 4 or higher, and anything that's not odd. 16 will work.
Boom. Good beats. Good beats.
We're not dead yet.
Okay.
I guess I should have done that. It's all right.
I think we'll go. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it.
JK, well, it's just looking tough out there.
We'll go Vivian. We'll do a marksmanship check before targeting. Need an 11 or higher on a DC 20. We got it. I'm gonna give myself +5, and perform this +1 range strike. So 6 into Rosalie. 19. That's gonna be a hit.
And then there was 1. Mine?
Why are you tapped?
I had to fall forward.
Oh, right. Oops. Sorry, I made you say that.
I'm going to spend my Fine Hilt Saber. Spend order, perform 2 +3 melee strikes.
Sick.
So we'll start here on the ghost number 1. That hits.
Yeah, it does. I'll fall in.
And we'll do it on the other one. Oh, yeah. Fix.
Go.
We're not dead yet.
Here.
We'll do this other one.
Okay.
Misses.
And then, did this attach to you?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
It might.
But it would, wouldn't it?
It could.
Because if you place, you can't play back here. You have to play here, so you can't play level 2. That's reasonable. Right. Okay, over to me. Well, as far as I can tell, it's just a dog pile, and try your best. Yeah, that seems right.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
So you can't use a Fine Hilt Saber because the spend order, I think, belongs to you.
It gives you a spend order?
Spend order. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Really? So anything on an item basically becomes the Warlord? The item, the cost, okay, that's paid by the character. You don't spend the thing, you spend the character to do it.
So instead of removing that thing, I'll play Spencer.
Okay.
So then I would never attach that weapon to that character. I will never spend.
Hey, we're learning, we're learning. I'm gonna play Pull the Strings on Spencer.
Is it over yet?
Target a.
Oh, nice. Hey, look what you got.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here.
He's going home.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
See you later, bud.
Oh, man.
You could have hit the save. You never know. Dude, 97 Bulls just showed up.
I just knew it was over.
Chelsea JV.
Well, I had so my opening hand had 2 of the Fine Hilted Saber, and then I drew another one, and then I also had. Let me pull it up. Man, it was just a lot of things going wrong there.
Woodrow made a bustedly bad deck, huh?
Well, it felt really. I think they're both probably pretty crazy, but that wizard thing, the staff you played, I think you have 1 in the deck. That was the card I said this needs to go in your deck.
Yeah, I think there may be 2 of them. But yes, I think you want to see precisely 1. It seems like if you want to see 1 of something, you run 2.
It's just so crazy against me. It's like shutting off half my character immediately.
I imagine it's because that character's so
also,
good.
the Liar Militia, it's like your opponent has to attack into it last time you were playing, you just killed the guy.
I didn't read it. I just kill it and lost.
So it's strange because like I don't know that I would actually want to start with them. I want to start with the things I want to start with, but obviously if you start with things you want to start with, they can just kill those things.
That's right.
So
it's the old Warlord dance, isn't it?
It's a weird.
Look at this Rod of Roaring Flames. Very cool. Order spin the rod to perform a +0 range strike plus the character's level. So you put that on your Warlord, you just get a +5 range strike.
Hold on, I get you the flames.
Well, that Rod of Resistance also looked awesome.
Yeah, it did.
Rod of Roaring Flames. Spin the Rod of Roaring Flames for a +0 range strike. This character's level roll. So your level's like 5 or something?
Yeah. So it's just a +5 range strike for free on an order. And that's an example where it says spin the item. Otherwise, you spin the character with the item.
Gotcha.
Which makes sense.
That was I feel like I had played an item that let me spin the item at some point.
Yeah.
So I just assumed that was it's like assuming I can't believe 30% of the sorcery things don't have an icon. Like part of why I'm willing to agree to that bet is
this game is fun, man. I could play this forever.
It's like if true, I deserve to pay the price. You know what I mean?
That's what.
It's like
that's
if
the
I
grand justice in it.
If I'm that wrong, I'll happily buy a beer.
You're willing to be wrong in your folly.
Well, that deck seems cracked.
I just love it. I mean, we could do it again, and you would just hit a few rolls, and it would be totally different.
Yeah, we will do it again. These are the 2 constructed decks that we have. So, so we also have the random cards that I bought, and then a booster box that we can work through at some point.
Would you like some steel? There's some one-box stuff.
I feel like that needs to be less of a game tagged onto the end of a 2-hour stream and more of a moment.
Yeah.
I want to get my hands on some Into the Accordland stuff.
Yeah,
some of that new stuff because. Cracking that thing open and doing sealed right out of the box with that, with a pack on top that they're including.
Yeah.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
I just can't wait. All right, man, let's get out of here.
We did it, yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope your rest of your week is great. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to see everyone. And come on over to our Discord, continue the conversation. We talk about all sorts of stuff. Talked about fountains and yard work and roofing. And
you never know what we're going to talk about.
There's all sorts of stuff in there. So we'll see you there. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate you. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.